What's up, guys? And all I have to say is, May the 4th be with you.
Yes,
It
sir.
is Wednesday, May the 4th, 2022. On the fly back again. And with me, as always, not Garth, but it's Warden. I'm not Wayne. It's not Wayne's World. Wayne's World. Everybody loves Wayne's World. But yeah, Warden, what's going on, dude?
Not much, brother. I saw. Did you see the? Speaking of May the Fourth, you see the new Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer?
27th.
Yeah, yeah.
You know
That
what?
I'm like, I think Tom or Zeus said it on the Shout Out Loud, and I think they were doing that today. It's like, and I put on there about the Revenge of the Nerds. It's like Kiss fans and Star Wars fans, and I put in that little "We Are One," everybody's favorite Kiss song.
Hey,
But
I like that song.
nerd. Oh, I like that song too. I mean, I
I
don't get the
love
hate.
We Are
I
One.
love that. I think Peter's voice is great on that one, but that's another podcast.
They
But yeah,
they
Obi-Wan, I'm
act
in, brother. I'm in.
they actually did. I remember after Psycho Circus came out, and that was back when I watched NASCAR. Uh, they used We Are One as like a little video going to a commercial for NASCAR. When I was like, heck yeah, I love that. But
Yeah, I like that song. I never got the hate for that, or finally found my way back. No, not the Paul Stanley one, but there's another Peter Chris song that's it's a We
oh
Are
no,
One. Was it We Are One that they get
Peter
from?
wasn't on We Are One. That was Gene.
No, what's the Peter Chris song that they hate?
Oh, you gonna get some slack from me on
No,
that one too.
that is
Finally
not a
found
bad
my
song,
way.
and I am not a Peter guy. I mean, I am
Man,
not a.
that was. I'm telling you, dude. That's fine that you like it. That's fine. But
I don't hate it.
I agree. I agree with Zeus and Tom. That's like Paul's way of slapping Peter in the face. Oh, we'll give you a
I don't.
song.
I don't
Take this load of crap and
know.
sing.
And if that's the case, then Paul got slapped right back when he did that freaking Aerosmith ripoff song
Oh God.
for Detroit Rock City, which
Yes, that
the
was horrible
Aerosmith
too.
song
That
was
was
even worse.
horrible too. I agree. That was horrible. Um, yeah. So tonight, our main event is Ace Frehley.
I got a guest.
Oh, look at that!
My
Check the
little girl Cherokee. My mom's pretty much dog. My mom lives with me, of course, but she's with my mom. My
look at
mom's
Cherokee.
retired, so it's like, oh, I got to be stuck with this guy right now. It's like, okay. So she's
How
she's
old is
like,
Cherokee?
she is. I got her in 2014. So
Okay.
she was about less than about one. She already had puppies, so she's probably come up on 10 years. But she's a little
Oh,
Chihuahua mix. Say
Cherokee.
hi to Stevie. Say hi
What's
to
up?
Stevie. Say hi.
I have to bring
Say hi to
mine.
Stevie. Say.
Mine are somewhere around here. We've got I've got, it's like the dog that sticks with me, and she's
Yeah.
like forgot what, a Shih Tzu mixed with something
Language,
else.
Stevie. Language.
Yeah, I know, but she sticks with me. And then we got a Yorkie. My daughter, and my wife got a Yorkie about a year ago, and that dog is all over the place. I'm telling you, it's like,
Yeah. Those small
but
dogs live a long time. So I mean, my cousin
yeah,
had a Yorkie. That thing lived like 18 years. Sweet little dog. Once you get to know her.
thanks. I'm stuck with her for a while, but she's finally warmed up to me. I'm a dog person. I mean,
Me too.
I can get a dog to like me. And then she's warmed up to me now, and she's because if I get up in the morning, I'll go lay on the couch or something, watch TV. All of a sudden, I've got somebody parked right at my butt while and I look down there. I'm glad it's her, but it's nobody else.
Yeah, if
Um,
I had to pick between people and dogs, it would be dogs. Cats are shady.
you
Cats,
know,
I'm allergic to, and I had cats all my life growing up, and I was never allergic to them until I got older. But cats always gravitate to me. It's like they know I'm allergic to them, and I mean, I
yeah, they're
blew
looking
them up
like,
like Mike Tyson fight.
yeah. The only time I've ever had a cat. I went to work one day and I was leaving, and I went to put my check in the bank before we had direct deposit. I went to put my check in the bank, and that was like a good 10 miles away from work. When I got out of my truck, I kept hearing meow, meow. I was like, somebody's got a cat around here. And so I went home. That's another 10 miles down the road to get home. Went to the school where I coach at. That was not even a mile. We get back home, and I'm like, get up the next morning to take the dog out, and I hear that meow, meow. And I'm like,
In your
oh
engine.
my God.
It's in your engine.
Pop the trunk or
Oh,
pop
the
the
trunk.
hood of my truck.
Oh.
And the cat is under there. The cat is rode there for like 20 miles.
Oh, I did the
And
same thing at
I
work.
was like, I couldn't. He was so like doing all this number at me. I couldn't
Pissed off, you think?
get him out. Yeah, so
What
I
did you do
wasn't
to me?
about to start up. I wasn't about to take the chance to start the truck up and disintegrate them or anything like that. So I went and got my dad's truck, and when I got home, my daughter had the cat out, and can we keep him? And I'm
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
and he ended up being like a tomcat, and he was all over the place. He disappeared for like a day and come back, and then he disappeared, and I never saw him again. I don't know what happened to him, but
Cats are crazy. They're kind of like people. Every once in a while, you'll meet a good one. Dogs, their dogs are what they're bad dogs is because of the owner. Cats just have their own mind made up.
oh yeah,
They're evil.
yeah,
Or they're good.
dogs are like the bomb. There's nothing
I
better than
agree
a
with.
dog.
Yeah, I've had two, and when I got Cherokee, I thought she was a min pin, and I did a DNA test. Oh no, she's a little bit min pin, mostly Chihuahuas. Like I didn't even notice. She looks like a min pin. So
Yeah,
my previous dog Zoe was a min pin. Friend of mine let me adopt her, and she's about 5, and she died on me a couple years later. And the doctor was like, dude, I think she was like 15. She was like, dude, yeah, that one hurt. I didn't expect that one. That one hurt. So
yeah, we did a rescue last year. We adopted a rescue, and we knew she had some cancer,
oh
but and she ended up going one day she's at the door barking at the delivery man, and then
right
the
away.
next day she's gone. And it was just like that. But
and I don't really. I'm not really a religious person, but I think if there is a heaven,
there's dogs up there.
We'll
Yeah,
have dogs.
yeah,
And all the Peter Criss Psycho Circus songs you can have when you walk up there that y'all are wrong about. I just want to say that it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
If I go to the other place, I'm sure I'm finally found my way. Will be greeting me at down there with him. I'm like, no.
Either that or Vinnie Vincent Invasion. Sorry, that's another story.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Maybe the first album and not All Systems Go.
Okay, I'll give you that. Slaughter's great.
Yeah,
maybe that's
not
all.
Systems Go. Yeah, let's talk about let's get to our current events before we get into the main event. Last night, thank you, Will Smith. I know Dave Chappelle thanks you. Dave Chappelle performing at the Hollywood Bowl and gets attacked on stage. I mean, if you haven't seen the video, or we got it on the Flythe Facebook group, it's up there. The guy just comes on stage and tries to do a WWE Edge spear, or if you want to be Goldberg, but it's just like Chappelle said after it. Thank God he's clumsy, because he missed and Chappelle didn't go down. They both end up flopping all over the place. And I'm telling you what, if you've got a wish to get a beating of your life, go rush a stage while there's something going on like that. Go rush go rush a wrestling event, because you're going to get the crap beat out of you. And if you saw the picture of this guy that I posted after that, and I guarantee you, Wes Spragans, who's a member of the Facebook group, posted, he said, I guarantee you he will sue the security at that place.
Oh yeah.
But here's the thing. Once you step on that stage and do that, your rights are gone, dude. And especially when you're carrying a gun that when you pull the trigger, a blade comes out like a knife.
Yeah.
This could have been really bad.
Not just for Chappelle, but for the audience. If stray bullets. I think you're being too kind about the Edge run-in. This is more like when the Freebirds would attack the Von Erichs back in the day. The Von Erichs had no clue what was going on, and just from behind, just attack them. And it's kind of, I think this guy's about as smart as that guy that messed with Mike Tyson on a plane. Really?
Oh yeah.
And you seen it like when I think it was Triple H and Stone Cold were back in the day. when they were fighting, and Stone Cold was kind of down, but this fan came after and was like attacking Stone Cold. I guess he was on Triple H's side. And Triple H like elbowed him and everything, pushed him out. DX NWO used to do that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's nothing new, because if you read like Roddy Piper, like he had a memoir, he got stabbed in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of those guys are safer now because they have security. But back in the day, I mean,
we're just like
this is on security, man. They should have been.
How that guy got that in?
Yeah,
I don't know.
But they said it when this Will Smith thing happened that it was kind of open. It was. I mean, I didn't think the Will Smith thing was that bad. He didn't say anything personally about her. Will Smith thought it was funny, and then he looked at his wife, and she got pissed.
It was like it was like she's Abner Devereaux and did the whole "I'm going to control you, Sam."
Yeah, and it's like, and he went up there, and I guarantee you, he moved his career, and I guarantee you, and you'll hear about him being divorced if he stands up for himself. He's got to hate her now. I mean, this started like, I mean, it's like, it's almost when people see this and nothing gets, like Will Smith got no punishment at all. Oh, he got a 10-year ban, but they didn't take his Grammy away. This tells people out there it's okay to do this. Yeah. And this is what you're probably going to see more of, because people love the copycats.
They called it when, a lot of people called it when it happened that time. This is opening up a big can of worms. And the funny thing was, who was one of the earlier performers but Chris Rock. Chris Rock had performed earlier, and when he came out, because a lot of them came out to see, I guess they wanted to make sure Chappelle was okay. Chris Rock came out and got on the microphone and said, "Was that Will Smith?" So, yeah. But the thing was, the big thing that I took away from the whole thing was what a consummate professional Dave Chappelle was.
Oh, Dave Chappelle's great.
You listen to him after it happened, and he said, first thing he said when they got him backstage, because you could see the security got him around the corner, and you could finally they didn't. Yeah, you could see it after he ran around the stage. They got him, and you could see it. And Dave Chappelle said, got on the microphone, "Hold on, I got to see this." And he wasn't just going to see it. He got a few kicks in, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's why you said he'll get sued, because he was detained. Oh, yeah. There'll be some lawyer out there that sees money. Like, I guarantee you the guy's got calls.
Oh,
because Chappelle's worth a lot of money, and honestly, Chappelle will probably have to settle. I mean, that's what our justice system has become. It would not surprise me at all.
But Chappelle was out there. He carried on the show, talking it up, and he said, I think Jamie Foxx came out. He told Jamie Foxx, "Leave it to Jamie Foxx, the only one to come to the stage wearing a sheriff's hat." And it was good. I mean, thank God it did not end like it could have, because
the gun would have went off. It could have hit a stray bullet. Could have, got him and other people. I mean, it's.
But the thing was it a real gun though? That's what I don't want to say. They said it was a gun that if you pulled the trigger, a blade came out like a knife.
So it was a real gun, or it wasn't?
From what I gathered, it wasn't a real gun.
Yeah.
But why would you? Wouldn't it be like the other way around? If you wanted to hide something, you'd make a knife look like a gun, or not a gun like a knife.
But there's something in this country, and this could be a whole new podcast and about stuff. And I'm not going to get political.
Yeah, I'm not.
There is an issue in this country called mental illness, and you have, and I think you even had Manomi Judd, another story about her.
Oh Lord, yeah, we're going to talk about
her daughters said that it was mental illness. I mean, it's coming out now. I believe it's suicide.
Yeah,
but I've known people that mental illness, depression, and I've gone through it, and it's like, people quit taking their meds. I mean, it can be controlled sometimes, but you never know what's going on in somebody's head. And this guy could be having mental issues,
But you've got all these activists. You look, and I don't know, and I don't really. I keep up with who wins in the NBA, but I don't watch it. Yeah. But a lot of these games, a couple of weeks ago, people were coming on the court. One woman guy tried to glue himself to the floor, and then another one tried to chain herself something. They showed a video actually when they were showing the Chappelle incident of a woman.
Wow.
She was going to run on the court, and I don't know how this security guard knew it, but it was like he was sitting a little ways right beside her, but maybe about 2 rows over to the side of her. And as soon as when she took off, he was right there, and he's bam right there on the floor. I don't know what he saw. It was like, I guess he was like Kevin Costner from The Bodyguard. He had that sixth sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, glad to see it didn't get as bad as it could have got, because it could have been really bad. We could have been talking about Dave Chappelle either being dead or in bad shape right now. If that guy got his knife, if the guy hadn't been clumsy, he might have tackled Chappelle and got his knife out and stabbed him. You never know.
Yeah.
So
you never know what people are going through. I mean,
you don't. You really don't. And I mean, that's one of the things. Just like with Naomi Judd, I mean, she was supposed to get inducted into the
next night.
The next night, and if what we're hearing is true, and this comes from a pretty credible source with her daughters, that she took her own life. Man, what could you had to be going through something mighty bad to do that and get ready to go on tour too.
Well, if you saw that interview she did, I think it was Robin Roberts a few years ago. She was talking about after she got that hepatitis. She got hepatitis real bad in the 90s. That's what ended the Judds. And she said she didn't come out of her house for 10 years. She didn't take hygiene, I guess, no baths. She just didn't take care of herself because, I mean, the mind is the most powerful object in your body because it controls everything.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just when you can't escape that. I mean, a lot of people, we've seen it in music before, and, real life, people take their own lives. You've seen psychiatrists do that, people that deal with this every day. I mean, you never know what, and I'm not one to judge, and sometimes drug overdoses, I think, are like that too, because people want to numb the pain and they accidentally overdose. They didn't mean to kill themselves.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the mind it's a terrible, they say the mind is a terrible thing to waste, but you can't escape your own mind, man. It's just, I mean, that's what I saw with her. It's like, was it sudden? I mean, it's, and she had everything. They were very successful, and people still get depressed.
Well, I mean, and you look at some of the ones that have took their own life, it's got to be something is really, and I've thought about something just in your head must snap to where every sense of reality is gone.
Yeah.
Every sense of like having, thinking about other people is gone. Yeah. Because the thing that gets me about it, and Lord forbid, I hope I never had to deal with it. I hope I never do it. But when you do that, when you commit suicide, and I know you can't be in a good way of thinking, but you got to realize somebody that cares about you a lot, more than likely, is going to find you like that. And when that happens, that person will never get that out of their head the rest of their lives.
Yeah, and I recently had a friend of mine from high school. I didn't really talk too much, but he was and our reunion came up this year. I think our 30th anniversary, 1991 was what, 30 years ago last year?
Yeah, 91.
And he had some issues. And I was talking to a friend of mine about that. And I go, yeah, think about the person that's got to find them and stuff. And he kind of mentioned something that I never thought of. He goes, yeah, but you got to think about these people. They're not thinking that way. They're thinking maybe life will be better. Their lives will be better without me. And I had never thought of it that way. Because there's that, I mean, we both like that country artist, Gary Allan. He's got that song called Life is Only Beautiful. I mean, he found her. And I don't think he's ever been the same. I mean, when he first started, he was putting out albums. I mean,
yeah,
he raised her kids. But she did that. And that's what kind of man he is to do that. That he knew the kids had to be sheltered from that. I think he took a few years off to raise them. And it's just like, I'll get you about that, but I think it's too is like they're not in that right mind where they think, oh, this can hurt somebody.
Something up here snaps where you're not thinking clearly. You're not thinking about anything but, all right, I got to do this. And I mean, I can't imagine. And I mean, I hope I never, like I said, I hope I never had to deal with it, but I can't imagine get to a point where I'm not thinking about, all right, this is what, like my daughter or my wife or my parents finding me or something like that. But you know, terrible situation with Naomi Judd. Um, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I went on a little rant on Twitter earlier this week, or Facebook too. Um, and it's nothing new. It's nothing that hasn't been talked about over the years. But we did get some worthy people that were inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. Judas Priest finally makes it in. Pat Benatar, way overdue.
That should have been first before a lot of them that are in there now.
Yeah. And then you got Duran, which, okay.
Duran's good, man. I like
Carl,
Duran.
I'm talking about, here's the thing. If you're going to do, and we'll get to this, you've got the Eurythmics and Carly Simon, Eminem, Dolly Parton, and Lionel Richie. And then you got Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis that get in.
Who are those guys? I have no idea who those guys are. Are they the ones that
Jimmy
work with
Jam
Janet Jackson?
and Terry Lewis?
Janet Jackson?
Yeah, they're the ones that they're like the songwriting team for Janet Jackson when she hit it big.
They wrote some good songs.
Yeah, they did a great job. But here's the thing. What is it? What genre of music is Eminem famous for?
Hip hop. He's the biggest hip hop artist there is.
Right. What genre of music is Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis writing music for Janet Jackson for?
R&B.
Okay. Here's my thing. If you want to put these people in, do not call it the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Call it the Music Hall of Fame. Because let me ask you this. Let me tell you. Let's say we have a rap Hall of Fame, and Kiss.
They're gonna put Paul Stanley in there because of All Hell's Breaking Loose, dude.
Exactly. All Hell's Breaking Loose is getting him in by himself. But yeah, and Kiss is on they're one of the nominees. You think they get in?
I look at it a little different than you do, and I know you may disagree with me on this, but it's not the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I agree with you. It should be the Music Hall of Fame.
Right.
But do you think as much money as the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame name makes, they're never going to change that?
Oh, no. I know they're not.
And I think they need to push a better directive of saying this is all things rock and roll. Like, kind of like the Facebook page, all things rock, hard rock, and heavy metal. Plug. But they should do better about saying, and I think they did that with Dolly Parton this year. Because she said it. I go, I'm turning this down because of I'm not rock and roll. But she changed her mind, which I think is great. Because honestly, there's not many rock acts that aren't around anymore that should get in besides Iron Maiden and Motley Crue, maybe. I mean,
Motley Crue, even Nikki Sixx said we'll never get in.
No, that's wrong. No, they'll get in. When you have people like guy from Audio Slave, I forget his name right now, that inducted Kiss. No, as long as there's people like him, they will get in. And so why they're going to get in? Because they're running out of big name marquees. That's why they put in Def Leppard last year.
That's all.
Bon Jovi.
That's all they think about is a way to get.
It's a business, bro. It's a business. It's a business, and they're not going to change the name. It would be like a band changing their name. Like that's why you don't think Motley Crue changed their name to, they should have gone on a different name. No, it carried that Motley Crue name, and that's probably why it sold the albums it did. That helped. They're not going to change Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I think this year they got it right because they seemed like had more inductees this time that encompassed. Rock and roll. You look at Rolling Stone. Rolling Stone was a rock magazine when it first started out. It's not a rock magazine anymore. And these are the same people that run the Rock Hall.
Back in the 80s, Rolling Stone was a magazine, was a great magazine. I had a subscription to it. Now it's
well, it's not the music you listen to. It's more of a political rag than anything.
Exactly. I don't want to hear Rolling Stone. I don't want to hear politics. That's Newsweek. That's Time, if they still exist. I
Yeah.
don't even know if they still exist. But Rolling Stone, you're supposed to be about music.
Yeah.
Forget
But
the
they
freaking
but they know
politics.
music doesn't sell, and they know politics does. So they're a business trying to, and
Well,
I'm not defending them. I'm just
yeah,
saying
I know. But
you gotta sometimes survive to make it, and that's why the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame name carries a lot of weight, and it won't ever be called the Music Hall of Fame, which I think it should. But back in the
music.
day when they made it the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, rock was the primary source, and it
Like,
just metamorphoses and everything else. But they're running out of artists to put in there. I mean,
yeah,
there's not many rock bands that I think that. I mean, rock band. I mean, we all know that rock doesn't sell like it used to. This is survival mode for them. This is a Dolly Parton move. So I'm fine with it. I don't respect the Hall anyway, and I don't respect Rolling Stone because they never had Kiss on before it was they won. I mean, can you imagine the Asylum era Kiss on Rolling Stone? That would have sold 1 billion copies, dude. With the hairy chest and the Phyllis Diller look or B. Arthur look at Gene. I mean, that would have just went through the charts, dude.
When I did my little rant, one of the comments up there was Tony Masalam, the lead guitar player for Restrained, which is an awesome group. If you haven't checked them out, you need to check them out. They're really good. But he brought up a good point about Paul. Before they got in the Hall of Fame, Paul just trashed the Hall of Fame. And ever since then, it's like, you're looking at a Hall of Fame group here. We're Hall of Famers. And he was like, they should have turned it down.
No, I think Paul did a great job on stage to say that. And of course, Paul's my guy. So I agree with you.
A piece of his carpet, did you?
No, if you've seen LP Sterlino's post, I mean, that's one thing I'm really not going to buy. No, I got to defend Paul on this one because I think that he buckled up, and it is still a shame that the tambourine player for the Grateful Dead is in, but Bruce Kulick isn't. That's an outrage.
That's the biggest freaking ripoff right there.
But I, what's got me about Kiss, and I kind of was like, I see your point there because I remember they were on tour. Was that when they were on tour with Def Leppard back then? I think it was right before the Def Leppard tour. Yeah, I think it was Def Leppard, 2015. Yeah. I saw that tour, and I remember just Paul and Gene will take anything he gets attention. And that's why I love Gene. It's like, hey, no publicity is bad publicity. That's why I'll rag on Prince, and everybody will start looking. But when they saw that and it said Def Leppard and Rock and Roll Hall of Famers, Kiss, I'm like, oh, you're like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You're using each other because that name carries weight. But Paul, when he was on stage, was brutal. I mean, but I kind of agree with you. I think they maybe should have turned it down. Not so much because I think they should have turned it down because it was just the 4 originals. I think the 4 originals, but I mean, it was unfair. And I think they would have won. I think they would have won that because I think the public opinion would have been on Kiss's side.
Oh yeah.
And then they could have all played together. I really think they would have played together if they were all in. I could see them all jamming.
I mean, people can talk what they want to. Tommy is the longest tenured guitar player in Kiss, but Bruce was at the time, maybe at the time, he was the longest tenured. But Bruce played longer than Ace. Bruce had, and I'm like you, I'm a fan of almost everything Kiss has done.
Yes.
I mean, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, maybe not so much Monster, Sonic Boom. But, Bruce has been like such an ambassador for Kiss. He took the reunion tour like a man, and I mean, he could have been one of these guys. Him and Eric Singer both. They could have been one of these, like, they could have come out and just bashed them and said, "What kind of crap is this?" Here, I mean, I know they would probably get paid something for, but
you don't think Gene and Paul approached Bruce before Tommy to be back in the band? But I think they did.
They probably did, but
they did it with Eric.
But Bruce,
yes,
Bruce,
yes.
And
Bruce is on
nothing against Eric.
Yeah,
but Bruce is like, I'm not going to put somebody else's makeup on and have.
He doesn't have to be. He doesn't have to.
I've got my
yeah.
own. I
Yeah.
was in there longer than him.
He's the dog of the band, remember?
Yep.
The dog
Yep.
makeup.
He would have dog makeup on, and I don't know if we could have had a dog.
Bruce is
Dog guy.
Bruce is my favorite Kiss guitarist of all time because you know that I came into the game later, and I know who yours is. We'll be talking about him
Yeah. We'll
today.
talk about him in a little bit.
And but you see everybody likes Bruce. You've never heard anybody talk. I mean, besides his brother. Hopefully they made up before he died.
I hope so.
But I mean, everybody loves Bruce. I mean, God, Bruce. I mean,
Bruce. I mean, how can you say something bad about Bruce?
I mean, my God, he's heading Grand Funk Railroad without the Rain dude, right? And I like American Band and stuff like that, but I want to go see Bruce. I want to go see that because of Bruce. I know it's the cover band.
That would.
Yeah,
I'm not a big Grand Funk Railroad fan, but I would
got
go
some good
see it
songs
because of Bruce. I mean, but I just don't see how you can say anything bad about Bruce.
No, and nobody has. I don't even think Peter.
I don't remember anybody saying anybody except his brother criticizing him.
I don't even think Peter. I think Peter had some nicest things about him. I mean, he's like next to Eric Carr. I mean, you kind of think of that band, and that's probably what Gene and Paul liked that lineup so much because there's no drama.
That lineup right there with
underrated
Bruce, Eric Carr, and Gene and Paul. Other than the originals, that's probably my second favorite lineup right there. I mean, it's a great lineup.
I agree with you, but I put the singer era because it wasn't that long in that same lineup. To me, that's me. But and I put that next to the original, the first three albums, because Kiss before they broke, there was something special about a band about to break. I mean, Destroyer and Rock and Roll and Love Gun are great, but there's something special about a band like that's hungry. I mean, I saw that kind of fight, and I know that the 80s get a lot of thing, but Kiss was, I mean, they were fighting, they were putting out songs and stuff. They were trying to survive too. It's kind of the same. Well, Paul was, so I kind of linked those two together.
Gene was playing Transsexuals.
Gene has some great
Too
80s
Young to Die.
That was a horrible movie. John Stamos and Vanity.
Yes.
Vanity.
I mean, I remember renting that on VHS and watching it.
Blockbuster.
No, it wasn't a Blockbuster. It was one of those mom and pop video places that we had nearby. I was like, okay, it's got Gene Simmons in it. We'll give it a try.
I liked him in. I know we're getting off Trick or Treat. I thought that was pretty cool. Him playing that DJ. And Ozzy being the minister. I mean, that was rich. That was rich.
We have an update on Ozzy's condition. Yes. Ozzy is doing a lot better. There was a video of him FaceTiming his dogs. So we
were just talking about dogs.
Yeah, he seems to be doing a lot better. So thank God for that. Yeah,
that is a miracle man. No, just kidding.
Miracle man. He's like a shot in the dark, I guess.
Well, well, it would be the ultimate sin if he passed.
Yeah.
Sorry. We could go on and go on.
It would put people on a crazy train, I guess.
That's true. But just keep that sweet leaf medication going on. You'll be great.
He's an Iron Man. I'll put it that way.
He is. Yeah. I will let you win on that one because that is the best. That is the best one.
All right. So let's get an update on our Rod Stewart bracket challenge. And we're at the Elite 8 now. Let me bring up my
go then.
All right. So let's go with the results here. Stay With Me versus Downtown Train. And man,
don't tell me. Downtown Train lost.
Yes. And it lost bad. 66% of the vote goes to Stay With Me.
I didn't pay those burner phone accounts. So
you should have paid Sonny Pooney.
Downtown Train is downtown. I mean, that's injustice. I mean, it should have been closer.
Yeah. Then we got Maggie May versus Young Turks. And another blowout.
Maggie May
with 76% of the vote.
I'm fine with that one.
Yeah. All right. Then we have You're In My Heart versus Do You Think I'm Sexy?
Another blowout?
No. This is probably the closest matchup of the night.
Those are both good songs.
You're In My Heart with 52% of the vote moves on.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes up for the first Downtown Train loss. That I mean, That's a good one. I like that. I like that.
All right. Forever Young versus Lost in You.
Forever Young. I know it had to win. Lost in
That
You
was
is
a
great, but
blowout.
it's
That was probably one of the most lopsided ones of the night. 77% of the vote goes to Forever Young.
yeah, that
Uh, phew. First Cut is the Deepest versus My Heart Can't Tell You No.
I would say First Cut the Deepest because it's historical.
71% of the vote goes to First Cut is the Deepest.
Yeah.
I was kind of disappointed with that. Infatuation versus Every Picture Tells a Story.
Infatuation had to win
Yeah,
that one.
62% of the vote there.
Every picture
Hot
tells a story.
Legs.
Every picture tells a story. It's not a real known song.
Not
I
well
don't think.
known.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a single, but I believe. Yeah.
Hot Legs versus Reason to Believe.
I gotta say Hot Legs because
This was kind of close. He got 58% of the vote for Hot Legs. So.
yeah, that's
So
just a great jam.
Tonight's the Night versus You Wear It Well.
Tonight's the Night.
Yeah, that got 65% of the vote. So our Elite Eight matchups. Tonight's the Night versus Hot Legs.
Hot Legs.
All right, I think Hot Legs will probably. Oh no! Hold on! Ho! I think Tonight's the Night's got that. I got to go with my guy.
You got to go with the song that got your mom mad.
Yeah,
what's this thing about angels and spreading their wings? What the hell?
Yeah, you can listen. You can listen to it about putting a hand in your pocket, grab onto my rocket.
Here,
but
listen to
nothing
this
rides through it.
Rocket Ride. Yeah, that sounds like a good Christian song.
Infatuation versus The First Cut is the Deepest.
Infatuation for me.
Yeah, I think Infatuation gets that. On to the other side, Forever Young versus You're in My Heart.
You're in My Heart.
Oh, I think Forever Young might take that.
I think Forever Young will win, but You're in My Heart's my pick.
Maggie May versus Stay With Me.
Stay With Me. I love Stay With Me.
Maggie Mays will take it.
I think you're right too, but Stay With Me's in a lot of songs, kind of like Do You Hear Me Knocking by the Stones. That's just a classic guitar riff. And I mean, I don't know. Maggie May for me is just so overplayed. It's, probably why
I mean, there's a lot of fatigue with that, but I still think it's gonna win.
Oh, it will. It'll probably win because of course my number one died a long time ago. So what do I know?
Yeah, it's your fault about the ZZ Top stuff too, bud. Yeah. If you didn't,
and that's like I said, the only right list is your own.
And that's what we said. That's what I've said from day one.
Stages deserves the number 1 and number 2 positions that we gave them. I don't care what anybody says. Not sure about
from
Pearl
day
Necklace.
one when I started doing top 10 list. Yeah, from day one when I started doing top 10 lists, I said, you can criticize it all you want to, but this is our top 10 list. And, that's who we like. I mean, this top 10 list with H. Frehley, I may get crucified for some of the picks over here.
I think you're going to do better than me, brother, because you're an Ace fan from the start. I became an Ace fan around the time I was more into Kiss, Asylum before I knew really who Ace Frehley was. I mean, I knew who he was, but I'll give you my reasons for pick, but that's a whole nother.
Yeah, we'll get into that in just a second. Before we get into the main event, you've talked about how big a fan you are of the Black Crowes. Black Crowes released an EP this week, 1972, and should be good because it's all songs from the year Warden was born. So, and happy, if you haven't seen, it was his birthday last week. He's turned the big 50. He's like a cop now.
No, I'm like David Robinson. I'm David Robinson when Avery Johnson used to play with us. I play with the big 50, David 50. Avery Johnson. And the great David Robinson.
Yeah, he was great. I remember when he played at Navy because, believe it or not, where I live, East Carolina is close by in Greenville, North Carolina. It's about an hour, maybe an hour away. Navy was in their conference in basketball. And so he came to Greenville, once a year and everybody was like, David Robinson's coming. So, yeah.
Yeah, he's just like Roger Staubach. He finished his commitment to the Navy.
Yeah.
And he probably could have had more years, but when Roger retired, he was done. Same with David. David won that last ring and he was done. And he walked. And that's what Tim Duncan should have done, but that's another Spurs rally. But
Tim Duncan is like, even though he went to Wake Forest, and I'm a Carolina fan, basketball fan.
Is that a big rivalry? I'm not
No,
familiar.
it's not a big rivalry, but he gave us some battles, and a lot of times he was on the winning end of it. But I could not dislike him because he was such a great player,
and you could talk smack to him, and he wouldn't blink an eye.
He did it right. Exactly, he did it the right way. It's like Barry Sanders when he played for Detroit. Barry Sanders scored a touchdown, and you didn't see all the dance and stuff. In each his own. If you like the dance and stuff, that's fine. But Barry Sanders gave the ball to the referee, walked off like he'd been there before. But yeah, Tim Duncan, I'll tell you this. I dislike Duke a lot. Duke basketball, I dislike a lot. But one of my favorite players is Grant Hill. Grant Hill, when he played at Duke, incredible. And I mean, when he went to the NBA, he started off and he was having an incredible career, and injuries kind of slowed him down. But yeah, Grant Hill is one of my favorite players.
Speaking of Grant Hill, I don't think you realize how close Tim Duncan was to going to Orlando. You know why he didn't go to Orlando?
Why?
Because they had Doc Rivers was a former Spur, was a coach of them. They had Grant Hill already, and they were recruiting David Robinson, and this town just freaked the F out. And they had HEB's, our local company, our local grocery store. They had these big freaking stay Tim stay. I mean, we're go Spurs go, stay Tim stay. And they were on the plane, the jet plane, to go to Orlando. And Tim Duncan says, "Hey, I want my wife to come on the plane." And he was told by Doc Rivers, says, "No, it's just for players only." Wow. That was a big. That's what a book said about it. But it also didn't hurt that they called David Robinson out of his Hawaii vacation to talk to him. And of course, you got Coach Pop. But he came pretty damn close to leaving the San Antonio, and San Antonio wouldn't have had another ring without him. I mean,
that would have looked. There's people that went to different teams that just didn't look right in different jerseys.
Yeah,
that would have been one of them.
Yeah, he opened up about how he almost left, but I mean, then they with Robinson, then they got Ginobili and Parker, which are one of the. I mean, Spurs were. And I know people, they aren't what they used to be, but man, they gave us a hell of a run. And if there's anybody under who's the guy for the Lakers, Coach Phil, it's
Popovich.
Yep,
that guy, he's out there sometimes, but man,
I love Pop. I love Pop.
Longevity that he's got. Good Lord!
And everybody loves him too. It's like these players want to play for him. So I heard today Stephen A. Smith saying that the Lakers need to trade LeBron. Well, hey. Come join the Spurs. He never will, but come join the Spurs, man, and win another ring. I know it won't happen.
I don't. If I'm a Spurs fan, I don't want that to happen.
Because you're talking to somebody that detested T.O. before he played for the Cowboys, and you're talking to somebody that detested Robert Horry before he played for the Spurs. So those teams both aren't good. So I'll take anybody. I mean, if LeBron can help it, I mean. He's not going to be like Aaron Rodgers. He's older. He may just, he's killing the team by wanting more money. Does LeBron go to Cleveland and play with his son? Who knows?
You might have 2 good years with LeBron, but after that, he's going to drain you of all your draft picks, all your money.
Well, look what he did to the Lakers. I mean, he ran Magic Johnson off. My God, who does that? Magic freaking Johnson. I mean, Johnson told him, don't do it for those players, and they did. Look where they're at. I mean, I would trust a Laker that's been there for his life, not a new quote unquote. Yeah, they got that ring, but I mean, I think that has a lot to do with
But still, it's catching up. When you look at everywhere he's been to, you look at the Heat, and they're finally getting back straight now, and they're number 1 seed. But
they got a great coach and they got Pat Riley. So that
they got Spoelstra now, but
that's what I mean. The coach,
Pat Riley, yeah. Are you watching the Lakers thing, Winning Time on HBO Max?
I haven't, but I hear Jerry West talking about it, saying how wrong it is. So there's got to be some truth to it.
If it's wrong though, it's still entertaining as hell though.
I kind of switch out between I'm watching Vikings right now, so I got Hulu, so I'll switch next month when that's done. Like I do that. I don't subscribe all the time. It's like, hey,
So Next thing up before we get to main event, my album challenge week. Let's talk about some of these albums that I went through this week. I got into the Beatles a little bit this week. The Beatles Help, which wasn't bad.
Okay. Stop the clock. You're not familiar with the Beatles?
Not as much as I should be.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you would. I'm a big Beatles fanatic. So
Yeah. So I listened to that was the first Beatles album that's come up on the challenge right there.
Good one.
It's Help. Then I tried a little bit of Ghost. I don't know if you've ever tried Ghost before, but yeah.
I sent you that link about that.
Yeah, you did. You did. Just right.
Their image totally doesn't match their sound. I mean, I kind of like it. I think
I don't mind it. It's not bad, but I was going into it thinking, yeah, it's good. This is going to sound different than what I heard. And
I thought it would be more like Maiden, but it's more
but it's not.
Like,
it kind of sounds
Bon Jovi, little pop Bon Jovi-ish.
It's kind of like a heavier Linkin Park. That guy sounds.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. And then I did Eddie Vedder's solo album, Earthling.
How's that?
It was okay. Yeah, it was okay. It wasn't. And I went into it not thinking about the Motley Crue situation. So I was had a level head.
Oh, both those guys both those got a ton of publicity. That's what they both.
Yeah,
and of course,
exactly.
Nikki Sixx ate that up. Like, hey, our tour's coming up. Let's get the.
Then I went to an old band I have never really listened to before, but I saw a documentary a while back on them, and it was kind of, it was okay, but I didn't ever listen to them. You remember a band called Big Star?
No.
Yeah, and I would have known if I had seen that documentary one late night on, I think it was on Showtime or something, but they actually are the
original. Watching Showtime After Hours, After Dark? Is that it's how you found
it? No. Where you going there?
You're not a teenager anymore, Stevie.
If
you're an adult, you can buy in the daytime.
If I was a teenager, it would just be the wavy lines up there.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw something. But they actually, and I was surprised, if you're a fan of the that 70s show, they actually were the originators of the theme song for the 70s show. It wasn't Cheap Trick. These guys did it before.
Big Star, is that what they're called?
Big Star.
Are they on Amazon?
In the Street, because when I was listening to it, I was like, wait a minute. I was waiting for Topher Grace to come out. And
no, I'd be waiting for Donna.
Oh, good Lord. Ooh.
I like a woman taller than me that can put me on her shoulder and take me back to the cave.
I don't care if I've dated taller girls before. It's not many that are shorter than me, to tell you the truth. Look, let me tell you this. This is funny. And I'm going to throw a shout out to my buddy, Greg Acree, who has been on some of the wrestling shows with me before. I told you Saturday night I went and filmed a wrestling event nearby. But when I got there before the show, Greg has never seen me before outside of here.
Oh, wow.
So
kind of like me, just like me.
Yeah, exactly. So when I got there and I was talking to somebody else that he knew, and he come up to me and he was like, I was like, what's up? And I shook his hand. He's like, you're a lot smaller in person. I was like, well, that's the exact opposite of what it's supposed to, the camera puts 10 pounds on you. 15, so I guess the camera put 10 feet on me too. And I was like, it's trick photography, bud. I do it to try to make myself look taller. But yeah, it was.
You wear those. You really like my 7-inch leather heels.
You really like
that?
Yeah. I wore the.
That's why you're a Kiss fan. It all makes sense now.
Yep.
The leather heels.
Yeah. So next, Kiss Off the Soundboard, Virginia Beach. Garage band. That's what they sounded like.
Which I don't understand. I sent you that link for the show I saw here in San Antonio. That's the same tour, and they sound great on that.
Have you listened to the one for Virginia Beach? Though?
No, I've received it. I've seen enough warning, so I'm not a glutton for punishment.
Yeah, don't waste your time. Then the new Miranda Lambert album, Country. We're going a little country here. Palomino, which if you like Miranda Lambert, she does not let you down on this album. She does a lot of great songs on this album. Yeah, I rake them from 1 to 5, and I've got a lot of 3s up here.
Can I say something about Miranda Lambert? She scares the hell out of me. Like, that's the kind of chick you piss off, and you ain't gonna hear from you again. You're gonna be in the bottom of a river. I mean, that like some of her songs are that way. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm
Oh
not gonna
yeah.
mess with this chick. But
So then I did Joan Jett and Blackheart's new album, the acoustic album, Change Up.
how's that? How's her
25,
voice? How's her voice?
25 songs.
25 songs.
Yes, and she does like all her greatest. Well, not she doesn't do I Love Rock and Roll or I Hate Myself for Loving You because that'd probably be hard to do acoustic. But
How is she sound now? I mean, I'm
you can
curious.
tell. You can tell she sounds all right. I'll put it that way.
But she'll probably be the best singer on that tour with
Yeah.
Poison and Def Leppard and Motley Crue. She probably yeah. She's
Anyway,
probably a lot younger than. Oh no, she may not.
I
she
don't
may
know.
be,
She's
I don't know.
younger. She does a lot of her. Cherry Bomb was interesting acoustic. And then she did the last song of the album was Light of Day, which is one of my favorite.
The movie with Michael J.
Yeah,
Fox.
with Michael J. Fox. And I did Black Label Society's new one.
I like that song.
Black Label Society was what was the name of that album? Doom Crew Incorporated, which wasn't a bad album. You know, it's Black Label Society. I mean, if you like them, you'll like this album. And I haven't finished with Bryan Adams' new one. And then I went Keith Whitley, Don't Close Your Eyes. So
that's not a new one. That's a classic. That's something that we should be still getting music from. Keith Whitley. I've been
we will be doing a lot.
I've been kind of doing the same thing, but
get ready. Go ahead. I keep interrupting you.
That's okay. It's your show. It's like, hey,
you're the warden of the asylum, though.
You're out of order. You're out of order.
No, you're out of order.
The
Keith
Apple
Whitley.
Music,
We'll be doing a lot more country
again.
music to come, guys. I don't even think I've told Warden this, but I've got we're gonna have a guest next month that is near and dear to my heart because he's a friend of mine and he's been to Nashville. He's wrote songs. He actually helped me with a big old present for my wife. He helped me with that song I wrote. If you guys haven't seen it,
nice.
Yeah. So he was the one singing it and playing on it. So he's agreed to come on next month.
That's cool.
I just got to let him know when, and we're going to talk a little bit to him. This is the guy I played football against in school. He was my bitter enemy, and then he helps me with a 20th anniversary gift for my wife. So yeah.
And you just have a way of reaching out to people because your co-host is a Dallas Cowboy fan, and you're a Steeler fan, so hey, you just a forgiving soul, brother. You just a forgiving soul.
I'm getting popularity points on Twitter too for being a Steeler fan, and you're getting grilled for being the Cowboy fan. You just
wait till the Cowboys. Oh, I saw that. You just wait till the Cowboys win, which won't be in my lifetime. Again, things will change. It's like Beck. Things are going to change. Loser, I feel it. But I've been saying that since 1997.
I'm glad you said which won't be in your lifetime, because we'll probably be sitting somewhere.
Our buddy Sonny Pooney is a Cowboy fan. He lives in California, so that tells you that they are. And definitely,
that's because a lot of people think it's just the cool thing to do to pull for the Cowboys.
Well, a lot of people are mistaken because it's painful as hell.
Exactly.
No,
Look at the track record.
No, I know, but we still the biggest franchise out there. So
that's what I'm saying. People fall in love with that because Jerry puts it on everything. I mean, he's like the Kiss of NFL.
Exactly.
I'm surprised they don't have Dallas Cowboy coffins yet.
Exactly. They have them, dude.
They do.
I don't know. I'm just.
I wouldn't doubt it. Somebody's probably been buried.
I don't know. I think Jerry Jones could probably learn
right there, just like the Seasons.
Jerry Jones could probably learn a thing too from Gene. Like they were talking about that.
I think they talk.
Well, that interview they were talking about how everything goes through him.
Yeah,
there's a reason why everything goes through Paul, because you would have like Kiss tampons, like he said in the extreme close-up.
You heard that on that Tom Zeus when they did the interview he did with the radio chick.
Yeah,
about how Paul said she asked about stuff that they had turned down. He was talking about things that I like, things that I thought would be good. It wasn't things that it was I.
Well, there's no I in team, you know that.
There's an I.
There's an I in Kiss. Yeah.
So yeah. Speaking of Kiss, good segue to our main event.
Like it was that hard.
Well, I was just looking for something. Anyway,
I mean, I'm dying for this. I cannot wait. I think how it's going to play out. You're the original lineup guy. I'm from the '80s, so I think our lists are going to be quite different. And I have a feeling that I am going to be my butt's going to get kicked again, like ZZ Top. So I just a lot of people were like we're blaming you for the ZZ Top list. That was my songs,
no,
people.
I'll take it.
And that was Stevie's ranking my songs like we did on Daughtry. So blame me for stages, but like I said, every list that is right is your list.
I can understand what you're saying about LaGrange because that does get played a lot.
Yeah.
The other, like TV Dinners, I've never listened to that song before. Pearl Necklace, I've heard. I remember hearing that. But tonight we're doing the. It may be all about Star Wars today, but we're not going to Alderaan. We're not going to Kashyyyk. We're not going to Tatooine. We're going to Jindal, and we're going to talk about the top 10 Ace Frehley songs. And we didn't hold back. I watched some of the stuff on YouTube about people doing their top. One guy did their top 20 Ace songs, and he didn't include anything from the solo album or anything from the Kiss albums, because he said if he did the solo albums, then everything would be up there, which I don't agree with there. I mean, there's some Ace has got a great solo album that he did in '78, but there's some humdinger songs up there and Snowblind, Ozone, but they didn't make my list. I can go ahead and tell you that. But
you're killing me, Smalls. No, I'm just kidding.
You're killing me, Smalls. Well, I could go ahead and tell you if Ozone made my list, then I would probably have to. What movie was it from? If Ozone made my list, I probably have to beat my own ass.
You're gonna hate my number one, Hide Your Heart. So I mean, I'm in it now.
Oh my
Hide Your
gosh!
Heart. No,
and here's the thing. Now, when I got to the Frehley's comment stuff, I did not use any of the Frehley's comment songs that Ace didn't sing on. And some people do it because if I did, we could do another top 10 Frehley's comment.
Same here. I did the same. Yeah. Same way.
All right, we'll do that in a later episode with Frehley's comment because I'm a big fan of Todd Howard.
You've had him on the show before, right?
Yeah, Todd Howard came on the show, and every once in a while we talk back and forth. He's actually redoing some of these songs, and getting ready to put out a CD.
Let me ask you a question about Todd when he was in the band. I knew Ace was in there, but I know he had the other guy. Was Todd? Did he ever play any leads in songs? Did he play leads in songs he sang?
I don't know, but it seems like he did.
Because
I can't say that for a fact, but it seems like he did.
One of my favorite Ace Frehley songs, or I guess Frehley's comment songs that Ace didn't sing, was "Calling to You." Yeah. I love that solo. That was like my favorite Ace solo. But
did it sound like an Ace solo?
I'm not a musician. It sounded great. And I was like, oh, this is Ace, in the 80s and stuff. But he may, I just thought about that just now. It's like, maybe he didn't play on that because that was going to be some of my honorable mentions. Like, I like this song because of the solo.
I'll put it to you this way.
Ace will tell you did it, but nobody else.
I didn't. I'm not saying I heard this from Todd Howard. I've heard it from a lot of it. Ace was missing a lot from some of those albums.
Kind of like Destroyer.
Yeah, he was playing card. One of my favorite Frehley's comment songs, and I'm a sucker for a ballad, is "Off Second Sight." It's over now. Todd Howard did it, and it's a great song. Incredible job, and that's one of them that he's redoing, and I can't wait to hear it. And I mean, no offense to what he's doing now, it probably won't be better than the original, but man, such a great song. All right. So let's get to
it.
I'm gonna let you go first. You're number.
Are you gonna let me go first? Okay.
Don't tell me it's Dolls.
My number 10. I guess we can talk about honorable mentions after we're done.
Yeah, we'll mention
Or
that.
if you are one of our honorable mentions in your top 10, like, hey, that's one of my honorable mentions. Okay, number 10, Into the Void.
Ooh,
This
starting out with a
song,
big one.
this song and Within are about the only two, or my two favorite. Within is a great Gene song. Were about the only two songs I really liked when Revenge came out. But I'm
That's
getting a
Psycho Circus, bud.
Psycho Circus. Sorry. I don't know why I'm thinking Revenge. Hello. That there's so many Kiss albums here. I'm still thinking about that Peter Criss song on this album. And I just love this
Finally
song.
found my way.
I think it's great. It's just a cool rocking song. And you look at on my
Yeah,
list, I mean, Ace likes to go into things, I mean,
yeah,
he
Into the
loves the
Night.
night. He loves the night. He loves to go into things. I
He
mean,
does.
and Kiss overall they just love the night, because didn't Paul Stanley once say, I think the daytime is a fine time, but the nighttime is a right time.
King of the
Okay,
Nighttime World.
Animalized Paul. That's great. But yeah, Into the Void. I'm not a big fan of this album because I think a lot of the songs on there done by Paul are like almost like TED Talk songs, like, oh, you can do it, like they say. But Within and Into the Void, and I like the title track. Into the Void is it. I mean, it. I heard it when I first heard it. I was like, hey, that's Ace. I mean, because we didn't have the internet. We had the internet, but
Yeah,
we didn't know he was going to sing. And I don't think, I mean, they may have screwed Peter over, but they gave Ace a great song. Or if he came up with himself, I
Ace
love
gave
this. I like
himself
this song.
that.
Yeah.
I think there was that was written with Carl Cochran. He called it the Cochran. He said that on an interview one time, and I was waiting for another Tom Snyder look from Gene and Paul when he said it. Like,
Oh, was that when they were back together? I didn't see that interview.
yeah, this was right after the reunion tour. So Carl
Oh, wow.
Cochran, yeah, and he was talking about that. So, but yeah, I don't mind Psycho Circus, the album. Um, I like, I guess the title track has got fatigue for me because I remember hearing that on the radio when it came out, and I was like, "Holy crap, they're back together again!" And they're
That was
doing
a
it.
good song. I mean, I
Yeah,
think it was a great song.
but I don't think they need to be playing in a concert like they do. I think that's Paul's.
I
He
was really
loved it.
disappointed when I heard this album, and I'm a diehard. And I think it's maybe being such a, Revenge fan, maybe this was on my mind, because anything after Revenge and then you got COS and this, I was just like, man, I just expected more. And that's the 80s Kiss talking to me. That's the Bruce
Yeah.
Kulick that's talking to me. So I think I was more kind of disappointed, but this song and Within stood out. And I think
Well,
Within's a great Gene song, way underrated. But that's another
Within is
podcast.
great. Within is great on the album, but live it sucks. They cannot do it live. I remember hearing them on the opening night of the tour when they did the whole big Fox thing, and then they did it on the radio live. You could listen to it. Uh, I remember hearing it, and I was like, they cannot do this live. And
I kind of thought the same thing about Unholy on Alive 3. I didn't think it was. I think that's why they don't play it, because it's just not.
Oh well, don't listen to Virginia Beach then.
Yeah. Even Gene has a bad day. It's not just Paul. Huh?
Yeah. Psycho Circus, the album as a whole, doesn't bother me because we talked about, I like We Are One, I like Raise Your Glasses. And I kind of, the more I listen to it, Journey of a Thousand Years, which is Alice Cooper's Dreaming, I kind of, I don't know. That song sounds like it belongs on The Elder.
That's probably why I don't like it. And you realize, though, that they got sued not because of Alice Cooper ripping Alice Cooper off. They got sued because it's such a bad song. Y'all talk about Time Traveler. This is horrible. I mean, I never liked that song.
This is a lot better than Time Travel. I'm sorry. Oh my God.
Take your word for it. But they got sued, and they didn't get sued over Time Traveler. Just saying.
Anyway, I'm going to tell you this, and this is going to be, you'll find out from me when I do a lot of these top 10 lists. My number 10 sometimes are ties. So
okay.
I did a tie at number 10 because I couldn't.
I did that on.
I couldn't keep either one of these out.
Okay.
The first one on number 10 is from Dynasty. Save Your Love. This was when Ace had hit his mark with the solo album, and they had to give him 3 songs on Dynasty, and Save Your Love. The more I listened to it, the more I loved it. Save Your Love, I Don't Want It, Put It Back on the Shelf for somebody else. I mean, it is a kick-ass song. But yeah, and then this is going to kill you right here. An instrumental. And this is one of my 2 instrumentals on this list. From The Elder, Escape from the Island.
Oh, that is a great song. That's a good song.
Love that. That is one of my ringtones.
But that's not really. It's an instrumental. Ace doesn't sing on it. It can't really be one of his, can it?
But Ace wrote it. This is the only song that Kiss has done.
Tells you how much I know about The Elder.
Except for maybe Beth. I think Beth is the other one. It's 2 songs that Gene and Paul have nothing to do with. This
I did not know.
Was Ace Frehley and Eric Carr.
Escape from the Island's a great song because it's not about I'm just a boy or Odysseys. I mean, that's a great jam. And that song
or fanfare.
That song is a complete waste because they could have put a good song on Creatures with that music. But it's a great. I like the song. I like the song.
Oh man, I love it. It's just
Save Your Love.
I can remember listening to it when I was a kid, and I was like, "This is shit right here." I love this.
Save Your Love. Save Your Love. It's not one of my favorites. The only thing that I think about when I hear that song is Gene's backing vocals because it's very prominent. Save. I mean, it's like his vocals and Gene's backing.
Paul there too.
I hear Gene more than I do Paul. That's because
It's funny how we hear that different, but I hear
Gene. Like
I hear Gene on that.
I hear Gene on Shock Me. It's like you can tell that's Gene, but you can hear Paul on Plaster Cast.
Yeah, I could say I hear Gene on Shock Me. Yeah.
Okay. So
all right.
Okay, that's good. So we're not at number 9
for you.
This is on my album because this song is better than anything on The Elder. It's called Torpedo Girl. I like Unmasked. I know a lot of people don't, and it seems like there's a kind of a fight between Unmasked and The Elder. I like this song. I didn't know that Escape from the Island was an Ace song, or it may have made my top 10. It may have been a tie like that. So I want to change the thing. I'm gonna put Escape from the Island with Torpedo Girl as my number 9.
Okay.
Kidding. I like Torpedo Girl.
Lord,
I mean, Ace has a thing about rockets, and he has a thing about torpedoes now, I guess. So this being the sequel to the Torpedo Girl, she got the rocket ride. Now she likes torpedoes. I like Unmasked. I love Unmasked. This is a cool song, and I like the funky bass or whatever in the beginning. Although I don't think Gene played that. A fun song. I mean, he had 2 songs on this album. Talk to Me, which is burnout for me.
Yeah.
And this is the beginning of what I say. They saw his solo album. I got you shaking I told you. And he's shaking his head. Stevie's shaking his head because I told him I got into Kiss in the 80s. I was an original fan. But
yeah,
okay.
I got you.
This starts me. He has 2 songs on there, 2 good songs. I mean, I know you probably think one's good and the other one's not so good. But this just shows me the beginning of what could have been with Ace if he would have stayed in Kiss. He had his own voice. He was stronger than Peter. Peter was bitter. Ace was anything but bitter.
He wasn't bitter. He was just out there.
And my list kind of shows that where I'm starting out here of what could have been. I mean, I love Bruce Kulick. Vinnie Vincent was great. But if Ace would have got his act together and stayed in Kiss, I mean, this is the kind of the show. I mean, a lot of people go, "Oh my God, good thing you didn't with that song." I love Torpedo Girl. I think it's a great song. There's not a song on that album I probably dislike.
I'm an Unmasked fan, and musically, this is a great song.
It's a fun song, brother. It's good.
He's freaking gonna go swimming.
Yeah.
In a freaking river where a freaking submarine's coming up with a girl on the deck. I mean, come on, yeah.
It's no different than the chick writing
when he wrote the song.
It's no different than chick riding a rocket. I mean, was she going to get on the space shuttle and go to Mars with Elon Musk? Come on,
that's a little bit tongue in cheek there with the rocket ride.
You don't think Torpedo Girls? It's all tongue in cheek on that one.
Yeah, I don't want to hear about a freaking girl coming up on a submarine.
And I don't want to hear about her on a rocket ride. You know.
Well, I mean, To each his
I would-
own. Touche.
Yes,
Touche.
I would put this above anything on the Elder, except for Escape from the Island. Now that I know that it's an Ace Frehley song, because there's another song on there that I like.
Eric Carr and Ace Frehley.
Yep, that's a great song.
So, number 9 for me is a Frehley's Comet song, and it probably, and I heard somebody say on the podcast, may have been on Tom and Zeus, or it may have been somebody else, but it probably could have been on Asylum. And it was about that time period. The freaking video was about the same as All Night, probably, I would say. But this one, the bass line that starts off with John Reagan hits that bass line on it, and it's just a great song, great video, Insane.
Yes,
I mean, one of my favorite Ace Frehley's Comet songs up here is Ace Frehley's Comet song, Insane. But man, I could totally see that on Asylum. If he was still with Kiss then, that was a Kiss Asylum song right there. And
I agree. I mean, you look at the video, that song should be on Asylum.
a lot of people give Second Sighting a bad rap, but I love Second Sighting. I've got the vinyl. I've got both vinyls of the first 2 Frehley's Comet vinyl. I don't have Trouble Walking, but Insane. That would be a song. And I remember back in the day when I was big into wrestling at the time, I was like, this would be a good song for a wrestler to come out to. I mean, it's one of those, like the Ultimate Warrior, something like that, come out there. One of the crazy wrestlers just come out there to it. Of course, Ace probably would have got no money from it, but if he was in WCW, they didn't pay anybody like that. But yeah, Insane is my number 9.
Okay, Insane, my number 4.
4?
4, my number 4. Insane, it should have been on Asylum, which was my introduction to Kiss, music-wise. I knew him on the TV show when Gene was destroying that movie when he was the Kiss Meets the Phantom, when he was destroying the Coke machine, or Coke, what was it? Coke stand or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
you say anything about Coke in the 70s, it may have made a whole different meaning, but that's not what we're talking about. Insane, I mean, meant for Asylum. The video shows it.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine them coming up with that on their own without either one of them seeing the other one, because it's like the girls look the same almost. It's almost the same theme. So I don't know. I love Insane. It should be on Asylum, and like I said, it's just another example of what could have been. And I just think Kiss would have been. I think they would have been a little bit more respected, but I'm not worried about that. But I just think that they're combining their writing like with songs like this, and All Night. They kind of could have had a child that was because Ace. I mean, this proves. I mean, did Ace write this song? I mean, I'm not familiar with the song credit, but this is a great song.
Good look.
I mean, a lot of people are going, "Oh my God, you put that on instead of, something from the '70s." But Insane, great, I love it.
Well, there's nothing wrong with Insane. Let's see.
I did put it over Torpedo Girl, so I did something right?
Torpedo Girl, let's take a dive.
You're gonna be singing that, man. That's when you call me, dude. That's gonna be your ringtone, dude.
Let's take a dive. No, it's not gonna be my ringtone. Believe it. Let me see. Second Sighting, Insane, Ace Frehley and Gene Moore. Maybe that's one of Gene Simmons' burner accounts.
Well, Gene always wants more, so he probably didn't get anything.
Ace did write it with Gene Moore. And his page, he doesn't have a Wikipedia page, so
okay,
can't look him up.
So that's my number 4. So you can chip that one away.
I got you. Number 8 for you.
Oh, I get 2 choices, and don't you get your number 8? Or
just did my number 9, so you agreed with.
Oh,
Insane.
Number 9
was Insane.
Well, I'm losing. Okay, that's right. It's my turn. Sorry. Old age 50. Okay, the next song is another song that could have been, I think, on Asylum. It's a great song. It could have been like a beer commercial. And I would put Paul singing this.
No, he did the Folgers commercial. You can't do him on a beer commercial.
Well, that was later. This is before.
And then Peter did a beer commercial.
But Into the Night off. It's a Russ Ballard cover. I can see this being on Asylum with Paul singing it. Change it up a bit. And it was also, I don't know if it was a Russ Ballard version.
It was.
But there's a guy, I don't know if you ever heard of Tony Bruno. He had Into the Night. It was his old. He was out of Philadelphia. He was on there. He was one of the original Keith Olbermann. They were together. He's bald like me.
There was a guy that sang Into the Night, and this was back in the whole K-Tail Records days.
No, this is a different song. He had this on there too.
No, this is what I'm talking about. It's a different song called Into the Night. This guy's name was, oh God, it was on one of those K-Tail records. I know
who you're talking about, but yes, I know which song you're talking about. Yes, but he had this one on there too. It was bumper music. Let's just say that. But he had Ace on. But I don't know if it was Russ Ballard, but I remember his show was called Into the Night with Tony Bruno, and I think that he had like a cut of Aces on there. Because when they play bumper music between commercials, I think that's what it was. But I can see this 80s. You get there, you just got out of rehearsal and go grab a beer. Everybody but Gene. Hey, let's have a Michelob or Bud Light. Into the Night.
Gene Simmons from Kiss.
And this would be, and this is like the beginning before. This is like what kind of starts it. We're going into the night. Next, we're going to turn on the night. See what I did there? A silent, crazy night.
Oh, okay.
And later on, we'll go into the void.
So that song, not a bad. I remember because that was, you had Rock Soldiers, and Rock Soldiers wasn't a bad song, but I'm just fatigued with it. So if I was going to pick a song off that album, Into the Night would be it. And it almost made my list, but it did not make it up here. That would probably be one of my honorable mentions. But yeah, the video, it's Ace and the band pretty much walking the streets.
I think they were trying to do a Miami Vice feel to it. It was the 80s. We're thinking here and we're jamming and we're going to get hammered.
Yeah, we're going to get Ace is probably already hammered, but there was a lot of talk back then, and it depends on who you believe that, Ace had told everybody he was sober, and one of the things he would do, what was that non-alcoholic beer? O'Doul's?
Yeah. O'Doul's.
I think that's what, but they said Ace would buy like a 12-pack of O'Doul's, pour that out, and then put the real beer in there, and he'd be swigging on that, and they.
Well, they had these little things you see online. They're called Hide a Brew. It's like a Coke can. You just put the beer can in there.
Yeah,
you never heard of that?
Where were you? Ace would be like, "Where were you at when I really needed you?" Yeah,
I was in
Into the Night was on the verge. Actually, was on my list one time, and then I changed it. I had to drop it off. There was, how I do with my list when I'll make a list, and then at the last minute I'll be like, nah, this needs to be over there. This needs to be off. But yeah,
I did the same thing. I changed my list up today.
Yeah, well, I changed mine up until about an hour before we went on the air. So my number 8, and this will be the first of the solo album, I think. Yeah, this is the first album. Speeding Back to My Baby. I just remember, I guess nostalgia is one thing with it, and I'll take a Tom and Zeus line out of this. The Nell Carter singing at the end. There's a lady that's speeding back. But I just remember listening to it, and I was like, and you'd hear the whole car deals and stuff like that. But he does a great job with it, and you're like that. It's like you're right there with Ace when he's singing it. It's lyrics a little bit better than talking about a girl up on a deck of a submarine out of the water, and he's going swimming with her or something like that. But
but that's why he's speeding back to her. That's why he's speeding back to her, because she's so good. All right, Speeding Back to My Baby, my number 3.
But yeah, that's your number 3. We'll see that.
My number 3. Okay. This is off his solo album. The credits say it was co-written by ex-wife Jeanette.
Yeah.
And there's a line on there where it says, "My gauge is red and my battery is dead. If this doesn't sum up Ace Frehley in one sentence, then I don't know what does. I mean, you can see him, oh, I don't have any gas, or the battery's dead. That is so Ace. You know, it's like, oh, I was late because my battery was dead. That's Ace Frehley. And one thing that was on my, I had a couple off his solo album, but the other one I had was the Rip It Out. And I think Rip It Out gets a lot more love than Speeding Back to My Baby. If Speeding Back to My Baby would have been on the B side, on side 2, it stands out, because when you have Rip It Out and then you have Speeding Back to My Baby, I mean, you talk about a 1-2 punch. I mean, and then it kind of slows down. I think he kind of should have spread it out, and this one probably got more love. It was on side 2.
Yeah. Another thing about Speeding Back, My Baby, the chorus, when he gets into maybe I should turn around, maybe I should stop, maybe I should turn around, and then the women kick in with him. But the back and forth between him and the women, or whoever that is singing the chord, and they're going, ooh, speeding back, ooh, speeding back. That's just so cool to me for some reason. I don't know why, but that was cool.
Wasn't that kind of what they did on some Love Gun songs, kind of having that backing vocals? I know they did it on Silver Spoon, but that was a whole gospel choir. But that, Gene had that on.
Gene had it on a solo album, big time.
Yeah, I like that. I think it's cool. I never pictured Nell Carter though. I mean, I always pictured her with
the Nell Carter people.
I picture her with the vacuum cleaner, sucking up the fish tank. It's like, oh, that's Nell. Okay, but I see it now.
Give me a break.
No.
Give me a break. Mm-hmm. All right, number 7 for you.
You mentioned it. Rock Soldiers.
Oh.
This is my introduction to Ace Frehley. I got into Kiss around Asylum era, Animalize. And so I was like all about the band currently, Eric Carr and Bruce Kulick. So I went back and I go, okay, these guys had a previous, I remember them as a kid. I know that they're not the same guys. And one of my best friends in high school loved Ace. He goes, hey man, you ought to check out this. And he played Rock Soldiers for me. And it's kind of cheesy, but for the time, I think it was a very good statement song for him. He wrote that with Chip Taylor, who co-wrote Wild Thing. I didn't know that. That was an interesting. How do you go from Wild Thing to Rock Soldiers? I like both songs, but Wild Thing is so iconic. But Rock Soldiers is kind of cheesy. Ace with an ace in his deck and stuff like that. But it's no different than
without an ace in his deck.
And I like it because it's like the 80s, like, an Arnold Schwarzenegger line, And I think this was a real statement song. I think people took it more serious back then.
Get to the job.
But I don't think that he had the right management behind him, because he had like more potential. We won't get into who signed him. No, I'm not going to go there. But his management,
don't name drop.
Whoever managed him, it's like, I just remember, I just think he was mismanaged. Either that or he was just, I don't know. This is a great song compared to a lot of the songs that were popular in the day. Like When the Children Cry. God, that's a horrible song. I would rather hear Rock Soldiers than that song. It's like, maybe it was because he wasn't.
When the Children Cry was a horrible song.
That's a horrible song, dude. That's a horrible song. It's so sappy. When the Children Cry. Come on, get over it.
It fits
and I like White Lion. That's the only White Lion song I don't like.
Oh, I do. I like White Lion.
Little Fighter. Their cover of
Little Fighter.
Little Fighter, and what's the other one? They did that cover of I think it's better than the original. I know that's blasphemy.
Radar Love.
Yes, I love that version. God, that's great. But I just say When the Children Cries because that's the kind of hair band stuff I don't like because it's too sappy, and you're trying to get but that's another story. But I love Rock Soldiers. I love the intro. It tells a story. I'm a big Johnny Cash fan, and I like the story he tells. He's riding a DeLorean, Satan on his right. I love this song, and it was my intro to Ace. I knew who the guy was, and I knew he sang "Shock Me," but that's like I didn't know he sang like some of the other stuff. This really, and I started, okay, I like this Ace guy, and I started listening to Frehley's Comet. So this is what got me into it. I went and bought this album, and I don't know if there's just the 2 songs are on there, but I like it. And I can see this on a Kiss album, maybe.
Could this be
But
considered?
leave it alone.
Could this be considered like a Hell's loose rap song? Because he's not really singing in this. He's kind of rapping in this because he's telling the story. He's not singing. He's like,
Yeah, but he does that. He does that on all his songs.
I cried. I am invincible. Said I was high above the law.
But he doesn't sing in most of his songs. I don't think. Yeah. I don't see him singing.
I'll say this about Ace, and I've said this a lot about Ace. People talk about his voice and all that, and he's got the great. But the key thing with Ace, it fits his song. His voice fits his songs, and like "Shock Me." I mean, that voice fits his songs. So that's your number 7.
Yes, sir.
My number 7 is a cover. But your number 8 was a cover.
There's a lot of covers in this list.
Yeah. I can't imagine anybody did a cover of Torpedo Girl, but anyway.
It should be. It should. You give it time. I email Jericho. I bet he'll do it.
Maybe the Revolting Cox will do it.
No. Quarantine will do it. I bet you, Paul. I bet you he'd do this song. It's not a Paul song, but maybe not.
All right. So the song I've got number 7 is a cover song. And it actually started back the whole reunion tour talk because he played it on Unplugged. It's a Rolling Stone song, 2000 Man. I can remember, I think it's the 3rd song or maybe the 2nd off Dynasty. But you go from...
I think it's the 2nd.
You go from...
I Was Made for Loving You.
I Was Made for Loving You to 2000 Man when that freaking guitar kicks in right on the intro, and I'm like, yeah, it's the 2nd song. Mick Jagger and Keith Richards write it, but I was like, holy crap. And how he does that acoustically, I mean, they were talking about Shock Me. They were going to play Shock Me, but that was too hard to do acoustically. Not acoustically. I'm thinking about Bruce Kulick now. But yeah,
you know how he did it on
2000 Man.
You know how he did it on Unplugged? I read something. You know how he did it on Unplugged?
How?
Tommy showed him how to play it. Hey Thayer, get over here.
Hey, sorry. Give me some coffee.
I had to put that in there.
But yeah, 2000 Man. He did a great job on Unplugged, but the Dynasty version of it, man, he kicks butt on that guitar and vocals. It's one of his best vocal performances to me was on 2000 Man on Dynasty. And when he hits that little, I don't know if you remember, and it was an outtake because I've got the, I don't know if you have it or not. If you don't,
I do.
You've got the whole,
yes,
all the outtakes and everything.
Getting caboodle.
Yeah,
it's on my phone.
The first time he sings 2000 Man on there, and at the end, 2000, you better fucking believe it. And Gene Simmons goes all to pieces. He's laughing like crazy. He's like, and Ace is like, what? Can't we just censor that out? Can't we just block that out? But yeah, 2000 Man is my number 7.
2000 Man, Richards and Jagger. Around this time when I was starting to get into Kiss, the late 80s, I grew up with the Stones. They're not my number 2 band after Kiss. And I got that box set of the singles, I guess it came out in the late 80s. And that's about the time I was getting into Kiss. And I would go and, hey, I don't have this cassette, so I'll go and buy this cassette. Hey, this cassette. And I remember buying Dynasty and liking this version of the song. But I think for me, it's a little bit overplayed, but I love the guitar heavy work. I'm not a big fan of the unplugged version. Some songs should just be electrified, my opinion. But I went back and listened to the Stones version. The Ace Kiss version blows it away.
I did the same thing. buries the Stones.
It's on the. I think it was on the what's it, Satanic Majesty's Request, which was a ripoff of Sergeant Pepper. I mean, they were all. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they were smoking some good stuff back then, or not so good stuff, because I don't like that version. But I think Kiss does it justice. I think Ace does it justice. And they're talking about, I'm in love with a computer. Little did he know in the year 2022 that people would be pretty much screwing their computers. I mean, Jagger and Richards knew, and
Yeah.
but I like this. I like the song. It didn't make my top 10. Like I said, I think it's because fatigue, but there's nothing wrong with this song. I mean, I like it. I love it. I love the Dynasty album. So, I mean, and the one that followed, obviously.
All right. What's your number 6?
My number 6 is a cover. Shocker. No, it's not Shocker. This song was an ELO cover written by Jeff Lynne. Do you want the ace? This song came out in the late, I think around the Trouble. It came out on Trouble Walking.
It was Trouble
And
Walking.
it was like, I had some friends of mine go, man, what the hell? Do you want the ace? I go, that's an ELO cover. And they're like, really? They had no idea. Another song cover that blows away the original. And I love ELO. I mean, not like Kiss, but the video is weird because there's this girl on the beach and he's not with her and he's just playing. And it's like, do you want the ace? And I love it. I like this song. Ace is a character. And I love the intro. I mean, and then the drums. I mean, I know it's not his song, but I love this song. This is in my favorites. I play this all the time. I got a playlist called 80s Kiss and 80s Ace, and I think this would have been cool. Like another thing that could have been on a Kiss album. I mean, it's got that guitar tone that I love on Trouble Walking, and it may be a little bit heavier than what Kiss was doing with Hot in the Shade. They may have butt heads, but it may have made Hot in the Shade a better album. Who knows?
Is this a better cover than his cover of the Joker?
The Joker. Oh, Ace? No, I don't like that.
Never heard his cover of the Joker, the Space Cowboy.
You're not talking about the what's the Steve Miller Band?
Some people call me the Space Cowboy. Some people call me the Gangster of Love.
I don't like the original song's horrible to me. I don't like either song. Well, I like Big Old Jet Airliner.
The cover, Ace's cover is right there with it for it's horrible. His cover is horrible with that.
Speaking of covers,
all right.
I was listening.
As far as Do You goes,
Stevie.
You were what?
Are you there? I got a question for you about covers. Parasite, he does with John 5, I believe. Is that him singing? Is that Ace singing that song? I heard that it came up. Yeah, doesn't he cover his own Parasite, or doesn't he cover Parasite and it's him singing that? That was a little weird. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if you would remember that.
I think he did. I think he did Parasite on one of his solo albums. I don't know if it's the Origins album, one of the Origins albums.
Okay.
Yeah, he sings it. So Do You? I'm a big ELO fan like you. And after I heard Ace's version and I went back and listened to the ELO version, I'm like you. Ace's version buries it. It's great.
It's a great song. Yeah, it's weird.
Ace's videos had a lot to work on. I mean, I think he could have done better. The Rock Soldiers video was one thing with all the marching aces and all that, the soldiers. But like Into the Night, where they, like you said, they were just walking down the streets and all this stuff. And then Insane was okay. Insane was probably the best video they did. But yeah, this one was kind of out there. I was not a big fan of the video.
That girl was on the beach. Is that the Torpedo Girl that washed on shore? Is that her?
Jeez, if she is washed on shore after all these years, then she's been put up.
Okay, there's one thing that I forgot to mention on Rock Soldiers. I remember, like I tell you, my buddy got me into that. I go, well, I'm a member of the Kiss Army. Can I be a Rock Soldier too? Sorry.
Double dipping.
See what I did there?
And I'll say this about, and I was going to mention about Rock Soldiers and Into the Night. Before that album came out, I don't know if you were big into it back then, but the first time we see Ace without makeup. You remember?
No,
He did a guitar ad for
with that was that
it
the
was in
guitar
like,
ad with the lightning looking guitar that wasn't a Les Paul?
and he was wearing some god awful suit in there that was red. I think it was red, and
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
it was like puffy, and
So
I
that
was
was
like,
the that
is
was
he
the
worried
first
about he's
picture.
going to catch on fire or something like that, or was a dog getting ready to attack him or something? It's a safety suit, but
That was
yeah,
the first. That was the first picture of Ace, huh?
that was the
I mean,
first
by
picture
the
that
time I
I
got into
know
Kiss,
of, and I may
that
be
album had
wrong
been
about
out.
that. So all you Kiss historians out there, chime in. But I think that was the first time you saw an Ace without makeup on,
So what
unless
did
you
he
were
first?
looking at the National Enquirer, and that was supposed to be Eric Carr, I think.
Peter Chris.
So
Okay.
number 6 for me, and we talked earlier about that guy saying if I did the solo albums, it'd probably be the whole album on there. But this is another one off the solo album. What's on Your Mind? You're breaking my heart. You're tearing it apart. You make me crazy. And I mean, then the chorus, what's on your mind? I mean, he does a great job on that. So I'll say this. And over the years, Paula's solo album has appealed to me more than Gene's, but Aces has always been top for me. I mean, but what's on your mind is just at that end and where he starts cranking into the guitar and he starts saying, what's on your mind? Then he goes, tell me. I mean, can't get better than that with this solo album with Ace. There's going to be a lot of that on this list. I can go ahead and tell you.
What's on your mind? Don't dislike
Yeah.
it, but not one of my favorite. I don't dislike it like Torpedo Girl. I mean, I mean, it's, I mean, it's, I don't like the kind of rush. What's on your mind? I don't like that part. I like the kind of more laid back Ace. What's that song? I'm the kind of guy.
Oh my gosh. No.
Yeah, that I like mellow Ace like that. I
like
I like,
Ozone.
yeah, I like Ozone. It's a great tune. The Foo Fighters covered it. It's a good song. Yeah. But it's not on my top 10.
Girl,
It's not on my top 10
Ozone.
though. It's not on my top 10.
You
So
like
you
Snowblind too?
No.
Okay.
I don't like Wipeout either because I was never Beach Boys or Fat Boys or whoever sang it. I don't like Wipeout. Okay, my number 5.
Yep, you're number 5.
Another song that could have been done by Kiss on an album after Asylum called Crazy Nights. And this is a song that was on a live EP called Live Plus One. And it's Words Are Not Enough. My same friend that loved Ace Frehley, well, I ran into him at the grocery store back before social media. He goes, dude, did you hear the new Words Are Not Enough? I go, dude, I love that album. That should have been on Crazy Nights. I mean, I think if Crazy Nights would have kind of been more like this, I know it's heavy as hell with the keyboards. I think if it would have been more energy like, I mean, you take, what's that song, When Your Walls Come Down Off, and put this on there? I mean, and that's a Paul, and Here Kitty Kitty. No, I don't care.
Kitty, kitty.
But I would keep Bang Bang You because that is a good song. Just saying. Okay, so Words Are Not Enough. Thoughts on that one? I love the song. It's funny how this song came out, and it was between, I think, the first 2 albums, right? It was between the first album and the second one. It's not quite Rock Soldiers, but it kind of shows you what direction Ace is going in. He's going in that Kiss kind of route with Second Sighting, with Insane and stuff like that. So
I don't dislike it. I like Words Are Not Enough, but
it's no What's on Your Mind.
But
it's no what's on your
better
mind.
than Torpedo Girl. But
well, yeah, I'd say that too because it's higher on my list. That's the only
I'd
reason.
rather hear that than Torpedo Girl. But
hey, man,
oh, I know, but still, whew.
I got you on that one. We're going to talk about that one for a while.
Yeah, we're going to get butchered for that one.
I will. That's fine.
But
bring it.
The Live Plus One album, I remember getting that. I got that from it wasn't Columbia House. What was the other one that came around in the late
BMG
80s?
BMG. Yeah.
BMG, yeah. I got it from there. And I was like, I was kind of disappointed with the live stuff. Because Ace trying to do the Paul Stanley talking during the
I liked it.
during the show did not work. And then when they did the intro for Shock Me, Todd Howarth takes over and introduces that one. He does a little bit better, but he tries to get Ace into it. But Words Are Not Enough is not a bad song, but it's just not. I'll just say it like Austin Powers, not my bag, baby.
Can you see it on Crazy Nights though? I can.
Yeah, I could see it, and it's funny how when you look at that period when the albums that came out during the same period have that same kind of sound, makes you kind of wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah. It all started with Torpedo Girl.
Yeah.
I tell you, hey, Stevie,
that was.
I'm not original Kiss fan. I'm 80s
I know.
fan.
I know.
So
That's fine.
Yeah, but I'm saying we look at Ace a lot different, but we have some stuff in common.
Man battle stations. Man battle stations.
All right.
All right. My number 5 is the last instrumental on the list. Fractured Mirror.
Love that song. Great song.
That is another one of my ringtones. And, when it starts off with the bells, it's got that kind of eerie. And that intro he does. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun. I mean, it sounds unlike. Believe it or not, the only kind of instrumentals I like are like stuff you find on like the Rocky movies. I mean, Vince DiCola, when he did Rocky IV, wrestling, wrestling entrance songs are the only instrumentals I like. So the fact that I've got 2 up here saying a lot, but Fractured Mirror, man, I think he kind of went a little overboard when he did Fractured 2, Fractured 3, and then what is that one that I cannot get into, and a lot of people think it's brilliant, but the acorn is spinning.
No clue.
Yeah, that's on one of the Frehley's Comet albums. It's an instrumental called "The Acorn Is Spinning," and I'm not a big fan of that at all. But because I was like, when he did Fracture 2, I was like, okay, all right, we're gonna have another Fracture Mirror. None of them have come close to Fracture Mirror.
I agree. I'm not a big fan of instrumental. I think maybe like I put it on Facebook the other day. Orion, I love that instrumental because it's Cliff Burton, and Metallica's one of my. I mean, it's one of the first Metallica songs I ever heard.
A instrumental that I really like, and I'll tell you why. You'll probably guess why. The Alan Parsons Project, Sirius. Have you ever heard that?
Alan Parsons, are they the one? Eye in the Sky? Is that the guy? Eye in the Sky? Eye in the Sky?
Yeah.
No.
The reason being is because if you were a Chicago Bulls fan back in the day, that was the song.
Oh, that's the okay. Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah, that's the song that they got in.
I was a Chicago Bulls fan before I became a Spurs fan. I went from the Lakers to the Bulls.
I was a 76ers fan until Michael Jordan got in the NBA. And Michael Jordan, of course, I'm a North Carolina basketball fan. Michael Jordan got in there, I was all Bulls. But yeah. And Sirius is another one that there's a few instrumentals.
Oh, I know that. Like. I know that instrumental very well. I mean, I know it very. I got to see Jordan on his retirement tour when he was still with the. I think it was still with the Bulls before he went to Washington. He came to San Antonio. And Duncan. I don't know. Duncan. When did he retire?
Duncan was there. He retired in like 97, 98.
Did you ever hear Tim Duncan thoughts on Michael Jordan? You ought to Google him. It's very like, he's just another player. Only Tim Duncan can get away with saying that.
Okay.
It's not his type of player. That's how Duncan is. So. Kobe, of course, but he's not that player. He's the big fundamental dude. He's on the ground. He ain't flying in the air like Jordan, which I love. I love Jordan.
Everybody talks about the flying in the air with Jordan, but Jordan, I mean, all defensive player. He could hit shots from outside. I mean,
that 30 for 30 pissed a lot of people off, but he was on target. It was him and everybody around.
Well, that's one thing about Jordan. He's not going to sugarcoat anything.
Yeah.
If he's going to let you know. But what was I going to say?
I don't know, Steve. Words are not enough. What are you going to say?
I need to go man battle station torpedo, I guess.
You still got that in your mind? God, I got you so much. We just need a Revolting Cocks version of Torpedo Girl, and that will make your freaking day, dude.
Number 4 for you was Insane. So
Yes.
I'm gonna do my number 4, and
Okay.
it probably would have been higher if it wasn't so freaking fatigued. And I mean, because I fell in love with it from as soon as I started. It's a cover song, another ballad song, New York Groove. I mean, from the clap, I just remember seeing. I think when Kiss exposed the that the first one, the first home video they did.
I'm alive and well. Where am I? Is that
Oh yeah, that shot they took right there.
well, it's probably
I
true for that era. I mean, it's probably not wrong.
He was with
But I get
Frehley
you. I get
Comic.
you.
I was
Yeah,
like, you guys are kind of dicks for doing that. That was the first time I thought Gene and Paul were dicks.
Thought.
Well, I mean, I didn't know. We didn't have the internet back then.
Too much root beer.
You got to have a little fiber, root beer.
I'm a pretty rough guy. Okay.
I'm a pretty rough guy. It's roughage. I need roughage in my diet. New York Groove, though, yeah, from seeing it on Exposed the first time when he was live, and he had the light up guitar that he always plays in concert, and but
that was that on Exposed? I haven't watched Exposed in so long. I don't remember
I think
that
it
name.
was. I may be wrong.
I remember him he did a solo with a guitar flute, like a smoking solo from Ace.
Clip of that. They just showed
I don't think they played New York.
Maybe it was it might not have been Exposed. It might have been Kiss My Ass.
Or it was what's the Kiss up close?
There's Extreme Close Up, then there's Confidential, and then there's Kiss My Ass and Exposed. But I think you're right. I think it was like Kiss My Ass. But yeah, seeing it live like that, and then of course the reunion tour, they played the heck out of it. Every time they went to, he would at the end he would say, like, if he was in Boston, I'm back in the Boston groove, and I'm like, okay, you're kind of overplaying the crap now, but yeah.
Well, it's not his song, so he can do, I guess, what he wants to.
The highest charting single off the solo albums, and that's pretty much what put his solo album over the top there, with everybody thinking it was better, and it is, to me, in my opinion, it's better. But New York Groove is my number 4.
Okay, my number 1 is New York Groove. This is, like you said, another Russ Ballard cover, but this is all Ace, though. This is Ace's song.
I mean, that's another one where he buries the song he covered.
And when you see and you hear the songs, like I was watching I don't know, it was something New York baseball or something, and they were playing Back in the New York Groove. Yeah. It's the Ace version.
It's not going to be Russ Ballard, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's got a George Michael Faith, or I guess George Michael Faith has. It always reminded me of that when I first heard Faith by George Michael, that guitar. It reminded me of New York Groove. I go, that sounds like Ace. It always kind of reminded me of that. No fatigue for me on this song. I love this song. This is probably this song, I think, was a big reason why Ace sold so well. And I think this was like the only charting single, right? But yeah. I kind of look at Ace and Paul's album as the same, because to me to me, I like them about the same. I don't think one's over the other. I think Ace's is the great, but I love Paul's. And next to New York,
Paul's is more of a Kiss album.
Yeah, that's why I like them both. Ace is different.
And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but the only thing that holds me back on Paul's is freaking Hold Me, Touch Me, Kiss Me, or no, Hold Me, Touch Me. Think of me when we are apart.
That's you too, brother.
Yeah, I know. I realized that after I said
that is a good solo, and he plays a solo on that. So I like that song, and I like that song.
You know who he sounds like?
If that song had been released in 1987, it would have been a hit. It's a lot better than When the Children Cry.
This is 1978. He sounds like Air Supply when he's singing this. I mean,
Air Supply is still better than When the Children Cry. Not as good as Torpedo Girl, but no, but
I mean, here's we've been getting away from the other one. Finally Found My Way, which is one of your go-to songs.
No, that's a rip. That's a rip off of the really, really, really bad Aerosmith song, which I had to play when I did weddings. It was horrible.
You're talking about not Finally Found My Way. I'm Finally Found My Way. It's Peter Criss.
No, I'm talking about the other
You're
Paul
talking
Stanley
about
one.
Nothing Can Keep Me From You.
That's the Aerosmith ripoff. That's another debacle, but that's another podcast.
You know, on Nothing Can Keep Me From You, Ace laughed at that song when they come out. He just said, "There's no way I'm playing anything on this."
Well, I don't think he was probably invited to play because he probably
I know he
had a
won't.
card game.
I mean, he's probably in that devil wants to play his card game now. He's going to play without an ace in his deck.
Okay, getting back to the Paul Stanley one, the Paul Stanley workout. Oh. New York Groove is probably up there with It's All Right. That's probably my favorite Paul Stanley on that solo, and next to Tonight You Belong to Me. But if you had New York Groove and It's All Right marketed right on an album produced by a good producer, I think doing all they always talk about the solo. I mean, you could kick everything off Gene and Peters, except maybe You Matter to Me, like that song. But to me, this is all Ace. It's a cover, but it's all Ace. Yeah. It's like Do Ya. I mean, and to me, that's why I put these are two of my favorite Kiss unquote songs. It's All Right and New York Groove. I think they're both kind of signature songs because that It's All Right. If you listen to Poison or anything 10 years down the road, that kind of song, Paul Stanley is what influenced it. Ace did the same thing. So, yeah. I mean, these are two very high influential albums, especially on my life, you know. But yeah, you got my number one, bro. There's no fatigue at all for me. I love this song.
All right. So your number 3 was
Speeding Back to My Baby.
So my number 3 is one we talked about a little bit earlier. Off Alive 2, off side 4, Rocket Ride. She wants a rocket ride. She wants a rocket ride. Barry's Torpedo Girl. It's Barry's Torpedo Girl. She wants a rocket ride.
Rocket Ride is as bad as the Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. It makes an appearance, so that tells you how bad it is.
Oh my God!
Right? She wants to ride. That makes no sense. I mean, the music's good. She wants to rocket ride.
You know what the girl wants, don't you?
Yeah, she wants to ride a torpedo.
Lady Space.
It's the same thing. Torpedo rocket. It's a weapon of mass destruction.
Take a rocket ride.
No, I'm not a big rock. I'm not a, and it's probably because I'm not original Kiss.
Yeah,
I think the best out of all four, though. I think the best out of all four those songs on the live 2 is All American Man, which I know a lot of people dislike.
That's a good song.
But I mean, I just don't know. It's funny. I guess I didn't get enough. You know, put your hand in my pocket is cheesy enough. But she wants a rocket ride. I mean, it's like. The music's great. It's annoyed me, and it's
solo,
I mean, it's not a bad song, maybe, but it's just not my cup of tea. I don't think it sucks. But I mean, I think it sucks to me. But there's a lot of I know I'm wrong.
He does a great job on solo.
Oh yeah. Did he actually play? Yeah. Did he actually play on that solo? Like we found out later.
Yes, he played on the solo.
I don't know the solos. I like the other solos better myself.
You know who that was? That was Bob.
I know. No, it's an original Kiss song. It's just not one of my favorites. I don't think it's terrible, but I don't hate it like Torpedo Girl, or But I mean, it's probably my least favorite Ace song.
All right, so number 2, we haven't heard your number 2 yet.
You're taking all my songs. Did you do number 3? Was your number 3? Was Rocket Ride?
Rocket Ride. Okay,
my number 2. That's Jazz, man. You know what I'm talking about? Peter Criss, backing vocals. Riot drummer Sandy Slavin on drums. Trouble Walking. That guitar. I mean, that's the tone like with Do Ya. To me, this is my favorite Ace solo stuff is Trouble Walking. I love that album probably more than the other 2. And it's a little bit harder edge than the other 2. And I like the 80s stuff. I think at this moment, besides Hide Your Heart, Ace was totally outdoing Kiss. I mean, Kiss overdid it with the too many songs on Hot in the Shade. But if I had to pick between Hot in the Shade, I don't know about that because there's a lot of good stuff on Hot in the Shade I like. I think rock-wise, Ace had it with, and at the end, he goes, "That's jazz, man." He starts laughing. I love that. That's great. Typical. I mean, that's Ace. That's Ace. But had Peter on backing vocals. And I guess somebody on Riot. I'm not a Riot was big here in San Antonio, along with like Legs Diamond stuff. Way before my age. The gay weren't pretty enough, I guess, for me when I was into Poison and Motley.
They look more like women.
That's number 2, Trouble Walking. It's one of my favorite Ace songs. It's in my rotation with Do Ya. And when I first heard it, it's like, okay, are you saying you are trouble walking or you have trouble walking? Because it's kind of like, I have trouble walking. It's like, or are you trouble walking? And then you put every woman's nightmare is like, that's not a good line, dude.
That's not a good line there. Yeah.
I don't know who wrote it, but I like the music.
Trouble Walking was one that I had on my like honorable mentions, I guess you would say. Yeah. But that album is pretty good there.
Except Hide Your Heart.
That and there's as far as Hide Your Heart goes, I guess hearing the Kiss version first, and then listen to Ace, and he's got a little bit of different on there, and I was like, I couldn't believe when I first heard that he had done the same song, and this was the same time. I mean, same time period. Hide Your Heart comes out, Trouble Walking comes out, and they both got Hide Your Heart on it. Also, Hide Your Heart around that time, Bonnie Tyler.
And Robin Beck. Robin Beck, an artist named Robin Beck did it too.
There was also another one, a Southern rock band called Molly Hatchet. Yeah. So, I mean,
it was offered to, I read an interview with Nancy, or is it Nancy or Ann Wilson? They said it was offered to them because I guess, I mean, that's a great 80s song. Yeah. To get off Ace right now, but it's a crime that song wasn't a bigger hit.
It should have been.
And they said they offered that to Hart, and Hart was like, well, it's not really, Hard.
Not really what we're about.
So let's do All I Want to Do, Make Love to You, which is, so much better.
So, number 2 for me, and this has some fatigue as well. But the one that started it all shocked me. I mean, the probably one of the best Ace guitar solos out there. I remember when Phantom came out, when the movie came out, and seeing when they did the whole first scene where they're in the sky and all that, and you hear the
that was cool, yeah.
Yeah, the guitar solo is a perfect backdrop for what they're doing there. But that just started everything with Ace. I mean, off Love Gun.
That's when they came out with their powers, right? When like Gene had the fire,
the talisman,
and then Paul was like walking on his eye. It's like,
yeah, Paul shot a laser out of his eye, which crazy enough, that was going to be one of the effects on the Dynasty tour, and they said it was too dangerous.
Too dangerous, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, he somehow waves his arm and down, and there's Gene, and he.
Can you imagine Paul like losing his eyesight for a tour that didn't really sell as much as they thought it would? It's like, oopsie.
And Peter just shows up there. I mean, he's up there just throwing his.
Was that really Peter? Well, no, Peter was his voice, his Ace. It was
right. His voice. It wasn't Peter's voice. It was one of those Hanna-Barbera voiceover guys that did Peter's voice. Ace was fake Ace. It was African American Ace.
Tommy? No, I'm kidding.
No, this is way before Tommy's time. But yeah, Shock Me. It's a staple at all the concerts. With of course, a reunion tour, they did that. That's where he played his.
Yeah, Tommy did a pretty good version of it. I'm just kidding. All concerts.
Yeah, let's not even go there with that. But
Shock Me is not one of my favorites. I love the solo, like you said, but the put on your black leather. I mean, it's such a lazy. I mean, sorry, okay. I'll take that word back. Such a, I don't know. It's. I mean, I know it's Kiss. It's just, but it's just. I don't know. I mean, somebody did Ace write this song?
Yeah, because he wrote it about him getting electrocuted.
Okay, that's right. Hello, losing points for that. But didn't he also write Strange Ways?
Yes, he did. But see, back then, and he probably would have sang that, but he didn't have enough confidence in himself.
Yeah, but you go from Strange Ways and even Cold Gin to Put On Your Black Leather. I mean, it just.
Well, I guarantee they gave him the idea to write this about, you should write something about getting electrocuted. And,
But Paul writes such a great song with Love Gun which is, I mean, I know it's Fatigue, but that's such a great song, and he wrote that. I mean, Ace couldn't over and ask Paul to help him. I mean, that would have been great. I mean,
Don't you think the egos there back at that time, because that was when they were really,
no, that's true.
yeah. I don't think
We're looking at it from this side of things. We're not
Yeah.
looking at it's probably why Ace didn't stay in the band like I wish he would have.
exactly. But yeah, shocked me.
I like the solo, but it's just, I mean, I like the music. I like the solo. I'm just not a big fan of it because it's
Well, that didn't make your list. I just
no,
noticed
it
that.
didn't.
So
Torpedo Girl did though. That tells you what I like about Shock Me.
Wow. Number
That's
one,
jazz, man.
yeah. Number one for you was
New York
New
Groove.
York Groove.
No fatigue at all. I love
My
that
number
song.
one is another one off the solo album. And over the years, of course, if it's number one on my list, it's got it's grown on me more than New York Groove, and it's Rip It Out.
Good song.
He's
Great
on
song.
fire on that again with the guitar. You know, rip it out, take
Yeah.
my heart. You know, and
Yeah.
you got it now, so goodbye. Rip it out, watch me cry. And then when he said,
I hope you suffer. Yes.
yes, that's what I was going to. I hope you suffer.
Who hasn't been there?
Exactly. I mean, it hits home. But yeah, just great lyrics, great music, great solo, all the way around. Rip it out, and he does a pretty good live version of it on +1. Because I think that's what he starts off with. That's what he opens the show with, was Rip It Out. But
little did we
Rip It
realize,
Out is my number one.
Did we realize that he wrote "I Hope You Suffer," but the next song was "Speeding Back to My Baby." So I guess they made up.
He's all over
That's
the
why.
place.
That's why he wrote it with Jeanette.
Yeah.
Rip It Out. I love that song, but between that and "Speeding Back to My Baby," I had to go with "Speeding Back" because I think "Rip It Out's a little too fatigued for me, and that's probably on me. Probably like how you feel about New York Groove.
Yeah.
But like I said, I got 2 album songs off there, and I could have more, but I wanted to kind of highlight my favorite 80s stuff. I'm not saying these are the best songs, but that's just my list, as we always say.
So, honorable mentions.
You want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
You go first. You go first.
Okay, Fractured. That's one of my honorable mentions. Stranger in a Strange Land. It's a kind of cool song, but I always wondered when he did that live +1 he was opening up for Maiden, I guess in Chicago or something. Did he play that song on that album?
Hey, I know
That's yours. Like, hey,
song.
we have one too. Fire and Water. I know it's not an Ace solo, but it's Paul and Ace doing. I want more of this. I would like to see them do an album together, get Gene out, and just, the rest of the guys. And I know it probably will never happen, but I would love to see even Gene, Ace contribute with, Eric Singer or Gene. But I love this video. It's a cover. Never heard it before, but I love it. Bronx Boy. I know it's got his heavy New York accent. I can dig it. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Hard Times, kind of a story of his life, which did make my list, Hard Times, which is a great song.
Yes.
I like it. When I saw him a couple years ago, he actually played Strange Ways. He played Hard Times. I was like, oh man, I love Hard Times, but I think Little burned out. And my least, and you notice that there's one album on my list that didn't make it. And he's got a couple of songs on there. Dark Light. What the hell is this song about? I mean, is it about a dark light poster? Is it? I mean, it's not Ace. It's
the freaking Elder, dude.
It's not
Kiss.
Yes, that's why. I like the music. Yeah. When it kicks like that, but it's not Ace, and it's just like, and a lot of people blame Ace for being drunk all the time, but Gene and Paul were sober when they did this. So hey,
exactly. Ace was the one saying, probably a good album and not the right time. I mean,
but it would have been a good album if it wasn't a concept album. The music, I think that's my deal with the Elder is like it's the lyrics kill it for me.
Like they wanted to be Pink Floyd, dude,
and they would have lost me there because I don't like Pink Floyd. So
I don't either.
Hey, so I struggled with this one, and I was like, do I want to go with this one? But I had to make an example of why I like Unmasked more than I do. And I kind of probably picked Talk to Me, but I'm so burned out of it, so I picked Torpedo Girl. That's why Torpedo Girl came out, because I was like, I had to prove a point that I like the Unmasked more than I do the Elder, and that's a lot of
you left out. You could have picked Two Sides of the Coin instead of Torpedo Girl.
I don't like that song, right? It's
But
not.
You like and man,
Yes.
Torpedo.
Yeah, I don't like Two Sides of the Coin. It's
Boom,
I like Torpedo Girl. That I think what saves it for me is the bass in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I like that. Yeah, that like when you hear like Sure Knows Something, it's got that bass line. I just like that.
That's a whole different story. You're
I think-
comparing Sure Knows Something to Torpedo Girl. Come on, dude. Jeez.
I like them both. So, man, you have put on your black leather, Stevie. Just settle down.
So, my honorable mentions. You talked about Rock Soldiers, Trouble Walking, Breakout. That was.
But
That was
that's
supposed
not.
to be with Eric Carr, and that was Carr Jam pretty much, with lyrics.
But didn't Todd sing that song?
Yeah,
it's not really a Todd.
Well, he sings with it. Ace sings some of it too. Stranger in a Strange Land. I had that up there as well. Rock Soldiers, and then Two Sides of the Coin. No Torpedo Girl.
Yeah, but it was on the list like 300 below, right? The last one.
It wasn't the last one. I will say this, and if I had to pick my dumbest song Ace ever did, and I know why he did it, I think it was off the Rock Soldiers album, Dolls. Have you ever listened to that?
No. I may have heard it and I didn't like it. I just skipped it. That's probably why.
Well, the reason is he did it is because his daughter is in it at the end.
Okay.
She sings the chorus with him at the end. But you go listen to that. And I'll tell you this. If I had to pick between putting that on the list or putting Torpedo Girl number one, I'd put Torpedo Girl number one.
That bad, huh?
That's bad. It's pretty bad. But, all right, let's go back over our top 10. Number 10, I had Escape from the Island and Save Your Love with a Tie. Number 9, I had Insane. Number 8, I had Speeding Back to My Baby. Number 7, I had 2000 Man. 6 was What's on Your Mind. 5, Fractured Mirror. 4, New York Groove. 3, Rocket Ride. 2, Shock Me. And number 1, Rip It Out. So let's hear your list again.
Mine's Into the Void with the Torpedo Girl at number 9. Then we go Into the Night. Then we go into Rock Soldiers. 6 is Do Ya. 5 is Words Are Not Enough. 4 is Insane. Probably because of my number 9 pick, right? And Speeding Back to My Baby, number 3. Trouble Walking, number 2. And New York Groove, number 1.
So we had 3 duplicates.
Yeah.
And
you got your song all made the top of mine, like New York Groove and Speeding Back to My Baby and Insane. They were on my top 4.
So we will have these lists up, and we'll get butchered again on Twitter. But yeah, if you have a list of 8 songs you like, put them on here. And you notice I didn't have anything off Space Invader or Spaceman or anything like that. I
what? No Space Trucker for you, Stevie?
No space trucking for me. I can't do it. Not compared to these songs. Please.
That's Deep Purple, right?
Space trucking. I think so. I'm not a Deep Purple guy either. I'm more of a.
I heard that song. I didn't think it was that bad. The video was kind of weird, but it was just like, oh, that's cool. But it's no different than really the Deep Purple. It doesn't stand out like Do Ya or New York Groove.
So that's going to do it for this week. And next week, we'll see what we have next week. We're not going to let the cat out of the bag. Might be something a little different than what we usually do next week. We've got some stuff coming up, some movies we're going to talk about. We're trying to get in more of a routine with what we can do. Trying to get a schedule out, like maybe have a guest one week, maybe do a top 10 the next and have a guest, or do a movie. We're gonna start doing like movie focuses, and that would be where we talk about, we pretty much carry you through the movie. And album review, we're gonna do some of that. We'll go back and do our, like, there's a group that I'm not familiar with, or Warden's not familiar with, that I am. I can put my top 10, let them rank it like we have with ZZ Top and Daughtry so far. Um, Another thing I think we should do, and we talked about it, we talked about these albums a lot tonight, is come up with a top 10 list from all the solo albums.
I like that.
Yeah, so that should be interesting to see how many Peter songs make the list, and uh, what is number one, who's going to be up there at the top, because I promise you that I'll have some Peter on there. That didn't sound right.
Well, Steve, is there
right.
something you want to share with the audience?
Easy. This thing on? Yeah, but yeah, we'll work on that. But
That's an interesting. I like that. I like that top 10, like what it should have been. I like that.
If you're gonna make like a best of the solo albums, a 10-song best of solo, I know they had one, but if you're going to make one of your own, what would it be?
Yeah.
I mean,
that'd be good.
And if you don't want a Peter song up there, that's fine. Don't put a Peter song. We're not gonna say, it's not going to be like a participation trophy. Oh, we have to put a certain amount of these. We have to put a certain amount, or at least one from each of them. No, if you don't like it, don't put it up there. I mean,
well, all I can say about that is there going to be more Gene songs on there than you probably, for me, because I like these. I like Gene solo because it's a lot of Beatle-esque.
Oh yeah,
stuff that I love.
Yeah,
I like all those kind of harmonies, except for bands like the Beach Boys. I don't like that kind of harmonies. I like the Beatles stuff and not the Beach Boys.
That may be one I have to put on my top 10 Beach Boys and let you.
Oh man, oh man. I'm gonna Google Torpedo Girl and look like songs like Torpedo Girl. We're gonna do a top 10 of that. How's that?
Gosh, there's no other song like that.
It's so funny. It's so funny. I had never. You're like me, like it's okay, and you know. But man, I really got touched a nerve with this one, man. It's like wow. I mean,
I just don't.
You really dislike this song. Ace is your guy.
Yeah,
Ace is your guy.
Look, let me tell you that, and I said it before. The music is fine. The lyrics are so freaking silly.
That's exactly the way I feel about The Elder.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, Just a Boy.
I's pretty good.
Odyssey. From a far off galaxy, I hear you calling me.
I mean, that was.
This is an interesting question, and this may pop up, and this is an interesting question for you, and this may pop up on another podcast. I'll just leave it out there like this. I don't even know if I should say it on here right now, because that may be another episode we can do.
We can do it later.
We'll talk about this off the air.
That works.
Yeah, but next week we could have a guest next week. We'll see, and we have some guests lined up, and not just music guests, but we have some interesting.
We got kind of lined up. It's going to be interesting. Yeah. Steve is gonna venture into parts unknown.
Uncharted territory.
Yes, parts unknown.
Yeah,
it'll be fun though.
Parts unknown. That's where a lot of the wrestlers come from.
And
we'll say this too. We talked about we're going to incorporate a lot of country music in here, and we are.
Yes.
And we're going to do here too. We're going to incorporate some wrestling. We're both old school wrestling fans, and some of the guys that are still wrestling today, like Jericho, I'm fans of. But you may hear some wrestling stuff on here. If you don't like wrestling, then wrestling theme songs, that may be something we come up with. But favorite wrestlers, I had a podcast called Ringside Ramblings that we did for a while with some interviews with some guys that are out there, and that may be some interviews that we repost up here.
The one thing I can't do probably, and I don't really listen to, like, I listen to Flair and I listen to Jim Ross. I don't really like watch-alongs because that takes too much attention.
Oh gosh.
It's just like, God, I can't
The
stay
only
on.
I will
I
say
can't do
this:
it.
the Shivani, what happened when Tony Schiavone, I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. The watch-alongs at first were pretty great, but they've got now where they don't pay a lot of attention to the matches, and they kind of joke. They kind of do like a stand-up routine while some of the matches are going on. I'm like, talk about the match.
Well, that's what they did to Jim Ross. He used to have when he was by himself, and I like Conrad. I'm glad he's
Oh
with
yeah,
Flair again. But they changed it to where it's more of like a watch along, and he would talk and give his own 2 cents, and he would talk about news. And since they did that, I really don't do it because I don't want to hear about
yeah.
stuff I've seen already. I mean, maybe
Oh
every
yeah.
once in a while, but I don't like to I don't know.
I did an interview with Conrad.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
is he
I'll
really the
tell you,
richest man in Alabama? As Ric Flair
probably
says.
so. I'll tell you about that off the air. Yeah, that's all I gotta say about it. And that's all I gotta say about that, Forrest Gump.
And on that note,
On that note, all right, we have took up 2 hours of your time tonight, but guys, please, and I'll tell you another thing we're gonna have. We're gonna have some. You're gonna see some people on our Facebook groups on Fly, all things rock and
rock,
metal,
hard rock, and metal.
hard rock and metal, and then the 80s.
That 80s page.
That 80s page, not that metal show, but that 80s page.
Yeah, we haven't been canceled yet. So
Yeah, VH1 isn't holding our rights back. Um,
just our paychecks, right?
yeah. So you're going to be seeing some, and you may be seeing some suggestions, some guys that we're going to plug. Because look, let me tell you this: I learned early on when I was doing this podcast that from a lot of different people, from my friends at Playlist Wars, from Tom and Zeus, from other guys that did the podcast that I listen to. Those two are probably the ones I talk to the most. All the podcast guys have got to look out for each other. And, it's not a competition. We're not going up against each other. I mean, you hear us talk about Tom and Zeus a lot up here, and they're guys we really look up to, and to get to the level they have in such a short time is incredible.
Oh yeah.
The number one Kiss podcast out there. And I'm saying that there is no other one close. There's no three sides close or anything like that. There's nothing like that. But yeah, and another one, Mitch LaFon, that's another great guy that you can listen to. But there's going to be some people we plug up here, and with good reason. And you listen to them, listen to us. Go follow us on Instagram. Warden takes care of our Instagram, so anything that's put up there, blame him for it.
Bikini shots coming soon.
Yeah,
with the Torpedo Girl.
Yeah, here comes another week of somebody taking shots at Warden. Yeah,
Fine with me. I'm used to it.
like
Gotta
we
have
said,
tough skin
though,
in life, brother.
like we said, there's only one right list, and it's yours.
Yep.
I mean, that's what makes this so fun to talk about. And I give him a hard time for it, but it's his list, and it's all in what you like. But yeah, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. The Rod Stewart Bracket Challenge, Elite 8, will be up tomorrow. You get over there and vote at On the Fly. You'll find us at On the Fly. Find us on the Fly Facebook group. Like we said, all things hard rock and metal. That 80s page. You can hit us up on our Facebook account. Direct messages, whatever you want to do. YouTube, subscribe, share.
We take cash too. So
Yeah, if you want to Venmo or something, go ahead. We take tips.
Yeah.
And not plant your
not
corn
ones to
early.
jump off the bridge or nothing.
Yeah,
like
not
that.
plant your corn early, or don't eat the yellow snow. But
plant your corn early. I don't think I've heard
that
that
used to be a big thing around it. This is a different South than Texas.
Oh.
Yeah, plant your corn early. This is farming country around here. That was the big thing. You want a tip? Plant your corn early. I mean, that's always around.
Yeah,
here.
down here we have sayings like, "Well, that horse done left the barn."
Anyway, that's going to do it for this week. Warden, have a great week. You're
You too,
old
brother.
now. You're over the hill.
Got my shingles shot and got my ARP card in the mail. It's coming in the mail, and
He's gonna be
Hey
taking
man, you
Geritol.
get discounts at Denny's and IHOP, so I'm all in, dude.
He's gonna be taking Geritol for long.
No, I'll just be in bed by 6 p.m. Like I can see myself. I mean, if I stay up like now, I'm 9:30. I'm way past my bedtime here. So
Oh yeah, well it's 10:30 here, so
yeah, I really past my bedtime.
yeah. But like I said, guys, thank you so much for the podcast is about to reach a big milestone, and I don't want to say it till it gets there but we're like this close to it, and we want subscribers. We want you to subscribe. We want you to like. If you like what you see, just take a few minutes and subscribe, and give us a 5-star review. Give us a 4-star review. Don't give us a 1-star review. And it gets us out there to more people when you do that. So
Tell your friends. Tell your friends.
yeah,
Tell your
tell
enemies. Tell
everybody.
everybody.
We've got almost 400 people in the On the Fly group right now, so we're getting close to 400, which is great. It's more than I ever thought I would have up there. And the listens I've got on the Fly the podcast is to get to this amount that I'm getting to. It may not seem much for some of these big boys, but for me, it's a lot. And Jason, thank you so much for coming along and stepping in. And
you didn't lose any listeners when I joined. I was wondering
yeah,
about that.
I had to play some old episodes to get the viewership back up. But
Yeah, that's true.
nah, I'm just joking. Yeah, it's
that's
been
fun,
great.
brother. It's I have a blast. You know, we become good friends, and I mean, we hear the other ones. You know, kind of the podcast we listen to. I was texting you about that. That's what we do.
Yeah,
you know, and
exactly.
we're not up there yet with Shout Out Loud, but we're not what Shout Out Loud is. We're an all entertainment. We're like we're trying to be entertainment weekly. We try to touch all areas.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah.
But hats off to those guys though, because man, they do an incredible job. But guys, you guys have a great week, and we will see you next week on the Fly.
See ya.